Yep, Charlemagne the God.
Andrew Schultz.
We are the Brilliant Idiots, and today's show is brought to you by... we love having great advertisers support our show, but in order to continue doing that, we need your help. So please go to podsurvey.com/idiots and take a quick anonymous survey that will help us get to know you a little better. That way we can show advertisers just how great our listeners are. Even if you've taken our show's podcast, listener survey before, the current one is new and different. So we'd love for you to take it all over again. Plus, once you've completed the survey, you can enter to win a $100 Amazon gift card. Okay, again, that's podsurvey.com/idiots. Thank you for all your help, and please go to brilliantidiotsmerch.com. Get you a Brilliant Idiots hoodie, get you a Brilliant Idiots t-shirt, some socks, whatever it is.
By the way, we just released the Brilliant Idiots Dick Talk tee.
Oh, the Dick Talk tee.
That's up. That's been up for a few days.
A dude said to me, why would we have a Dick Talk tee? I'm like, yo, let your girl walk around the house with no drawers on, no pants, and a Dick Talk tee.
With the Dick Talk tee. God damn, bro. Why are you being so homophobic?
Exactly.
I know, it's like, this is what I don't understand. How are you going to wear a jersey with another man's name on your back? You got a man on your back.
You got another man's name on your back, but you scared to wear a Dick Talk tee.
And you got a dick. It's your dick you're talking about. Shit.
Hey,
that makes way more sense.
By the way, if you're a rich guy, all them designers, Versace was gay.
Yeah.
So as soon as you say I'm going to get me some Versace, you should say pause.
Exactly. Exactly. You want Gucci, you want Tom Ford. Actually, I don't know if Tom Ford is straight or not, but all those dudes probably thought of those outfits you're wearing while they were getting blasted in the face. Every single one of them.
Absolutely. So go to brilliantidiotsmerch.com, pick up something. Salute to High U Clothing.
Oh, and a black hoodie. We got a black hoodie cut that came out as well. Both of those are out right now. They dropped last Sunday. That's the Dick Talk tee and the black hoodie.
Yep.
We got some interesting ideas for some shirts coming out, some limited edition releases. I was speaking to the guy over at High U, so shout out to High U. But I want to put out some limited edition releases. I think we need the Moncks Corner, South Carolina shirt. I really think
population 8,000.
Yup. I really think we don't need a short order of that. A limited edition run of the Moncks Corner, South Carolina.
That would be dope because when I go do my book tour, like Berkeley High School, I'm sending them a certain amount of books. So that would be dope. Like to have that T-shirt with the books. That would be dope. Gotta do it. So we're gonna think there might might have a little young Hezzy shirt coming out. Some types of things. Maybe teeth, titties, toes. We're gonna have some limited edition runs coming out. So I'm excited about this Brilliant Idiots merch idea. I'm with all of that.
Oh, and real quick, I want to just say thank you so much to everybody who came out to my LA show here. You guys sold out the Hollywood Improv. That's just fucking crazy, man. To sell out the Hollywood Improv on a Tuesday night is unbelievable. So thank you guys so much for coming out. The show is fucking amazing. Thank you, Matt Richards, for hosting. Thank you, Akash Singh, for doing a spot on the show. And just thank you everybody who's in there. It was just packed with Brilliant Idiots fans. And it's just the realest thing for me. I love stand-up more than anything. And to be able to just be in a room with you motherfuckers talking crazy shit, unfiltered madness, it's just so much fun. So, that's the reason why I do everything I do in entertainment, is to have those moments with, a few hundred people in a room. So thank you guys so much for coming out, continuing to support. The Mansplain Tour is hitting more cities. We're continuing to add dates as we go along. You can go to the website, theandrewschultz.com, and you'll figure out where I'm going to be in the coming months. All right.
Go get the book too. See the book, CTHABOOK.com. Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, wherever you purchase books. It's called Black Privilege. Opportunity comes to those who create it. Everybody keeps asking me, what's the gist of the book? The gist of the book is 8 principles that I learned in my life that I'm now sharing with people. Okay. So, and it's just based off my experiences. Like, a lot of times when you get Malcolm Gladwell or Robert Greene, the historical references and context they use to reinforce their principles are just, things that other people have been through, but I'm using things that I've been through to reinforce my principles. So go get that. Black Privilege. Opportunity comes to those who create it. It'll be out April 18th. Now, you got any church announcements?
I got some church announcements, but real quick, what do we talk about every single week on this show is understanding the values of success. So if you look up to a person like Charlemagne and you say, oh, this person is someone I see as successful, then learn his ways. Success is not luck. Okay, not every person successful is a random weird Vine or YouTube
Exactly.
video.
And
Some people put in hard work
Absolutely.
over years, and if you want to learn how to work in a way that is not only hard but smart and successful, then pick up these values and tips from someone like Charlemagne. If Charlemagne is someone you look up to, then you should figure out what his processes are for success.
Simple and plain.
So I think that's a great idea, man. I think more people should do it. Man, I was talking to a buddy of mine. He said that like there's a book or something like that about like billionaire success tips, right? And something like 95% of billionaires all have the same thing, a morning ritual. Every single one, it's crazy. Every single one of them, they wake up in the morning. They usually get an early start on the day. And they do like a compassionate meditation where they're like being compassionate to themselves. It doesn't have to be meditation, but it's something where you're just reflecting and being grateful, kind of starting the mood, calming your brain, exercise in the morning
Absolutely.
and get it going. But isn't that crazy that all these people that are successful independently from talking to each other just happen to have the same routine? Maybe there's something to routine.
I mean, I think it's definitely something to routine, and I haven't read any success story where people weren't disciplined in some way, shape, or form. Like the number one thing I think that causes success is somebody making a conscious decision to say, I am going to be successful and I am going to sacrifice X, Y, and Z in order to get A, B, and C. That's what. Right. That's the number one thing. People don't want to make sacrifices no more. People really don't think you have to get up and actually put in any motherfucking work in order to get to where it is that you need to be. And I can't blame them when you got motherfucking cash me outside girls running around. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, you're absolutely right, man. It's I think that's the illusion with this internet fame is that fame can just happen, or even with this reality star fame, is fame can just happen without work. That fame isn't fame that sustains a career. If you want a fame that sustains a career, then you need successful values, man. You need routines. You need actual skill and talent, because skill and talent will sustain. It just so happens some of these people that end up being reality stars are also skilled. That might be lucky the two of them come together. I mean, I can't think of anybody at the exact moment right now, but I guarantee if we're thinking of reality stars, we're thinking of some of these like YouTube sensations, we could probably think of one person where we're like, all right, this person's talented. I
can't think of any. I mean, it depends though.
Try to think.
Like, okay, it depends. Like if you talk about Issa Rae.
Cardi B. Who? Cardi B.
Yeah, Cardi's a rare one. Cardi's rare.
Cardi has something relatable and yeah, very relatable. There is a talent to her relatability, her kind of humor. But I'm saying it just happens sometimes.
You know the difference between Cardi B and a lot of other people though? Cardi was actually on Instagram doing something. Like she wasn't like one of those people who just cursed out her mom. Preaching. She cursed out her mom, and then oh my God, and send Ontario with the ooh. Like she's not one of those. Like Cardi was actually doing something. She was presenting herself. She was giving girls jewels, and she was doing little sketches. Like she was actually doing something. Right. You know what I mean? Like
absolutely. But here's how you tell the difference. Are we laughing at you or are we laughing with you?
Boom.
If we're laughing at you, it's probably because you're what is this, flash in a bucket or whatever that saying is. There's not real talent there. You're just a goofball. If we're laughing with you, oh shit, you might have something. Let's cultivate that. Let's nurture that.
Yeah, they sent me a text yesterday to interview the Cash Me Outside girl. Said, hey, Charlemagne, any interest in having the Cash Me Outside? How about that girl, a.k.a. Daniel Bergoli from Dr. Phil on The Breakfast Club. She's in NYC next week. She's up to 5.6 million Instagram followers, has a top 20 song on the iTunes chart, has no filter, and is one of the most talked about TV, internet personalities in pop culture, mainstream, and urban right now. She's 13. I responded immediately, absolutely not. Okay, like absolutely, positively, beyond a shadow of a doubt, hell no. Like, why are we rewarding that kind of behavior? Why are we making stupid motherfuckers famous? And I know somebody out there is putting on SoundCloud right now, well, you're a stupid motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? You're kind of famous. Like, why would I want to interview the Cash Me Outside girl? Like, I'm trying to think.
I can't think. I think it's child abuse. I think it's shoddy to even let it continue.
I don't, yeah. And you know what? I'm not knocking anybody who does choose to interview her because everybody has different reasons as to why they want to interview people. Like, there's certain people that I probably want to interview that people don't find interesting. So maybe somebody out there finds her story intriguing or interesting. I'm not one of those people. I'm just not. Like, I don't give a shit. Like, she's just another young girl who said something wild online. You know what really what pissed me off about her? When she went back on Dr. Phil and told Dr. Phil, I got you popping the way Oprah, I made you the way Oprah made you, or some shit she said like that. It was something so ridiculous, like what? Like Dr. Phil's worth like $80 million. His TV show's been on like 17 years. Like,
yeah, she's a 12-year-old, bro.
Like, who are you?
Yeah, she's a 12-year-old. It's just I have no interest in interviewing her. I think anybody who does want to interview her, I'm skeptical of your motives because you're just doing it to get some clicks, right? So you're willing to help a 13-year-old train wreck get closer to the destination of the wreckage for your own benefit, which is kind of gross to me. What I would do is interview her mom. I would want to interview her mom and be like, how is a mother? I want to say, how is a mother? Are you okay with this? How are you, as a mother, are you supporting this? How are a mother, you enabling this shit? What are you doing to your daughter's life? She's 13 and she's going to be known as this ghetto white trash bitch that wants to fight people and say, cash me outside every 5 seconds. That's what you want your kid to do? Be a fucking parent, you loser.
And by the way,
that's what I would say to the mom.
By the way, it's only a matter of time before she gets her jaw rocked in the street. All right, because I saw her fighting on the plane. She got to tell you gonna run up. That cash me outside shit only gonna work a couple times, boo. Like,
until someone cash your ass outside.
Somebody gonna catch your ass outside, or catch your ass on the plane, or catch your ass in the mall. Somebody gonna rock that little jaw, girl. Like, that's all it really boils down to. She ain't never had nobody beat the shit out of her. But you, listen, man, one thing I tell people all the time, you get what you ask for and you get it because you asked for it. All of that popping off at the mouth she doing, somebody gonna jump on her little ass and beat the shit out of her. And then she running around with security. Like, get the like she told Soulja Boy. She told Soulja Boy, I made more money last week than you made all year. I'm like, why are you lying to people? How did you didn't make any money last week.
She might have made more than Soulja Boy. That is a possibility. I think that's the one thing that this girl said that might have made sense. The Dr. Phil thing is ridiculous, but about making more than Soulja, okay.
But how?
Okay.
What did she do to make money?
What did Soulja do to make money? You only need to make $1.
Soulja still
if making. If Soulja lost money last year.
Yeah, but Soulja's still making money off ringtones. Soulja's still getting royalties. Soulja sold a lot of records, bro. I don't think people realize that. Like, Soulja Boy sold a lot of records. That fucking Crank that shit was an original song with an original beat that was used on commercials and for the NBA. Then he had like Kiss Me Through the Phone. He had Hop About the Bed, Turn My Swag On. Soulja still makes a lot of money. Soulja just did a song for Beyonce's Lemonade album last year.
He did?
Yeah, Soulja had a production.
Dude, I respect his business acumen. I think that he's making himself kind of a clown character right now, but his brain in terms of business works, man. You can't fault that kid. That kid at a very young age understood how to work the system. I respect it.
Hey, he won against Chris Brown, though. I'll give him that.
Bro, Chris Brown pussied out, bro?
Yeah,
how the fuck did Chris pussy out, bro?
Chris got bad timing. Not only did Chris say he didn't want to fight Soulja, at the same time he said he didn't want to fight Soulja, it came out that Karrueche had got a restraining order against Chris Brown, and in the complaint she said that Chris Brown punched her in the stomach twice and pushed her down some steps. So I don't know if you saw the video Soulja Boy put out, and he goes, this motherfucker wanted to fight me over a girl that he was beating up on. A girl that got a restraining order against him. And I'm like, you know what? It's not. You're not gonna hear me say this too often, but Soulja got a point.
Yo, he does. Soulja does.
Like, game over. You know what, Soulja? You're right. You win. Ding, 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 ding.
We need to speak to someone else who's fucked Karrueche, man. We got to, because Karrueche's vagina must be so magical that she's got this dude, Chris Brown, that sprung. I mean, you're willing to risk your freedom over this kind of shit. Granted, Chris does get sprung over girls, but what he's done,
yeah, it's not
Chris turns into a sucker with these girls, huh?
Yeah, I mean, but I think that's just who Chris is. Like, we have to stop trying to normalize Chris's behavior, like we do with a lot of celebrities. You know what I'm saying? Same way
Yeah,
we know.
but I guess it's because I just think he's cool. Like I look at him like, man, this motherfucker's cool. He's all swagged out.
Oh,
I
yeah.
bet he gets tons
He can
of
dance
bitches,
his ass
but
off.
He could dance, but he could play ball. Like the dude can legit play basketball.
If you could do
Like,
a moon
nice.
moonwalk, you can get away with beating a girl.
Shit.
Like
all I'm saying is it's so hard for me to put those two things in the same world. I'm like, how you so nice at basketball you could dunk and cross people over, and you're sensitive as fuck and you get your heart broken easy.
It's this,
like I don't understand
it's the
how
R.
those
Kelly
two worlds
syndrome.
miss.
We forgive R. Kelly because R. Kelly can write a mean record. R. Kelly can write in the Step in the Name of Love and I Believe I Can Fly. So everybody just turn a blind eye to him peeing on a little 13-year-old girl on video. That's fine. He'll be okay.
Dude, that shit is so true. Akash Singh, shout out to Akash, has the funniest idea about Michael Jackson when it comes to that shit. He goes, "We say that Michael Jackson didn't rape those kids because we know we wouldn't stop listening to the music if he did."
Nah, that's real. Michael's another one. Like, listen, do you understand that somebody who had the allegations presented to them that Michael Jackson had, if it was anybody else, you touching little boys, right now in this era, you're done. Even if it wasn't true, the court of public opinion on social media would bury him before it even got to court. Before it even really got to court. That's how good motherfucking Michael Jackson's music was and how much people loved Michael Jackson.
No, you're absolutely right. It's crazy. It's crazy. And shit, I got in trouble for it this week, man. I was fucking trending on Twitter this week because I posted a picture of Ellen with Migos. And I said, selective outrage. Ellen had posted a picture. The Migos posted a picture. And I said, selective outrage is very interesting to me. I'll read the actual post.
I saw it. I was waiting to talk to you about this.
Okay, good. So, but I just want to read it so everybody knows the context.
Hold on, matter of fact, you want to do a mid-roll? You want to do a mid-roll and then press reset and come back to that? Let's do a mid-roll first.
I think that might be a perfect idea.
All right. This week's episode of Brilliant Idiots is also brought to you by Blue Apron. Fresh, high-quality ingredients make a real difference in your good life, so it's important to know where they're coming from, okay? Luckily, Blue Apron delivers easy-to-follow recipes along with pre-portioned ingredients, courtesy of over 150 local farms, ranches, and fisheries across the United States, right to your door. It's everything you need to make sustainable and delicious home-cooked meals in 40 minutes or less. Some of the upcoming meals, where the fuck are you?
Bro, I'm on the penthouse floor, the 12th floor.
Jesus Christ.
This shit, but it's Hollywood, man. It's crazy out here. Motherfuckers are murdering people. There's meth heads everywhere. It's not like you see in the movies, man. Hollywood is different in LA.
All right, well, I hope that you got some Blue Apron out there to ease your pain. Okay, some of the upcoming meals in February are cashew chicken stir fry with tango mandarins and jasmine rice, udon noodle soup with miso, udon noodle soup with miso and soft boiled eggs, roasted pork with apple, walnut, and farro salad, and crispy barramundi with quinoa and roasted carrot salad. Okay, check out this week's menu and get your first 3 meals free with free shipping by going to blueapron.com/idiots. You'll love how good it feels and tastes to create incredible home cooked meals with Blue Apron. So don't wait. That's blueapron.com/idiots. Blue Apron, a better way to cook. Now,
bro, you need to have another podcast where all you do is just read ingredients that you don't know what the fuck it is. That is the funniest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yo, I always wanted Rick Ross to do an audio cookbook because of the way he describes food.
Yeah,
I always thought Rick Ross doing an audio cookbook would be so fucking dope.
Yo, I'll do that, but you gotta read the ingredients beforehand and nobody can tell you how to pronounce it or what it is. We just give you one ingredient.
You get some of this, you get some of this Udonis Haslam noodle soup.
Udonis Haslam noodle soup.
Okay, now let's talk about this Instagram post. They was roasting you on social media.
So I said, selective outrage is interesting to me. If an athlete, politician, or businessman said, fucking on your bitch, she a ... they'd be labeled a misogynist. A rapper says it, they're on Ellen. What's really the difference between Ann Coulter or Milo Yiannopoulos and our favorite gangster rappers, besides a fire-ass beat from Mike Will Made It? Bill Maher is evil for putting Milo on his show. Ellen is cool for putting Migos on. And then I put some hand on your chin faces, whatever. Now, granted, I want to say when I posted this, I didn't know that Milo had made what is it, like arguments
That he tried to normalize being a pedophile.
Yeah, I didn't know that at the, and had I known, so me talking about Milo was talking about all the other incredibly offensive things that he's said before that, right? And and Coulter at the same time. Ann Coulter and Milo are not political figures. These are essentially entertainers. Do they go on political shows? Sure, but they write books. They're writers, entertainers, right? And I mean, Milo, I guess he considers himself a performer, but that's another thing. So my feeling is, why do we let musicians, you know, and in this specific instance, it's Migos, get away with saying shit that we know is really fucked up, that we would never let anybody get away with. And then when somebody else says it, just roast them. Like George Lopez, just a couple weeks ago, we're talking about how he's a misogynist for calling a girl a bitch. But all of a sudden, that fucking Bad and Bougie comes on and it's fucking on your bitch here, dot, dot, dot. And everybody's bouncing their head, dot, dot, dot. So it's totally fine. And what ended up happening, what was really interesting to see is the responses from the people on the comments. A lot of the comments were, oh, they're just 3 kids from Atlanta. Oh, they're just these 3 little kids. Oh, they're just rappers. Nobody takes them seriously. And I thought it was really funny to see how quickly people dismissed these rappers as humans. Like, to me, that's the ultimate prejudice. Like, that's fucked up. That's super soft bigotry right there. You just assume just because they're a rapper that now their opinion means nothing in the world, that they're a child. You're going to treat them literally like an infant because they're a gangster rapper, where I'm out here treating them like an adult because they're a fucking adult and holding them accountable for their words. It's like, you can't make a decision. In my personal opinion, you can't just go out there and say, okay, certain people we're going to treat like children, certain people we're going to treat like adults. It's just not fair. Well, it's just not consistent. And the only thing I care about, like I've said every week on the show, is consistency.
This is the thing, right? I saw the post that you put up, and you know, I saw everybody saying, "Oh, this is alt-right Andy at it again, being racist or whatever."
How is it racist? I
didn't think it was racist.
Never once.
I didn't think it was racist at all. I just didn't understand. As an entertainer, as a comedian, why would you put yourself in that situation? And what I mean by that is, entertainers do have a different license to speak about things than other people do. It's the same reason when a director can make a gangster movie and have drugs in the movie and killing and murder and rape and pedophilia, and people will just say, oh, it's a movie, it's art. Or when a rock star or a rapper or a R&B singer talks about misogyny or fucking or whatever, it's art. Or the same reason Louis C.K. can make a pedophile joke and nobody will get upset because he's on stage being a comedian. So what I was thinking in my mind was, Andrew is putting a target on his back, and the reason you're putting a target on your back is because when something happens in your life, like say it's the sitcom or say it's whatever, anything that's good that's gonna happen, people are gonna start digging shit up that you said that may or may not be offensive, whether it's about misogyny, whether it's about homosexuals, whether it's about race, and they're gonna use that against you. And when you try to use the excuse, hey, I'm a comedian, they're going to be like, no, because you want to be held to the same standards as Ann Coulter or Bill Maher or whoever else is putting themselves out there as a journalist. I think that's one of the beautiful things about being an entertainer, whether it's a comedian, whether it's a rapper, whether it's a rock star, whoever. Y'all do have a different license than everybody else, and y'all can address things that other people can't. Like, I looked up 10 of Louis C.K.'s most offensive jokes. If he wasn't a comedian, they'd do him like they do Milo. They would bury that motherfucker. Like, get him up out of here. But the fact that he's an entertainer, he gets a different license. So I just didn't understand why you would put that target on your back like that.
Well, I'll tell you a couple things. One, the movie example that you gave, a lot of people give this example where they say, we see killing in movies, or we see, misogyny in movies. How that's no different than rap. It is different than rap because rappers aren't claiming to be fake. They're not claiming to be scripted. They're not claiming to be playing characters. They're not claiming to do something that we know is untrue. Iron Man is not real. Captain America is not real. If you ask the Migos if they are the Migos, they would say, yes, I am the Migos. And if you ask them if they lived up to their if they lived up to their thing, to what they say in their raps, they would say, yes, I live up to that. Now, my feeling is this. When it comes to Louis C.K. and like the pedophilia jokes, when it comes to a lot of comics and or the good comics and their jokes, myself included, is that we do jokes that we think that we can defend in a court of law. So that Louis C.K. pedophilia joke that you're probably referencing, Louis C.K. said, he's like, in most instances where kids go missing and then are killed, it's because a pedophile takes the kid and then has sex with them and doesn't want to go to jail, so he kills the kid and buries it somewhere. And so he goes, I can't help but think that if we didn't send pedophiles to jail, we would get our kids back. Now, regardless if you think that joke is funny or not, the logic is sound in the joke, right? He's saying, how do we save the kids' lives? Well, don't send the pedophiles to jail. For killing them would do that. He's not advocating for that. He's putting that out there as a possibility.
Well, that's one of his pedophile jokes. The one I was talking about was the one from SNL where he said he compared the joy of eating his favorite candy mounds to what sex must be like for a child molester.
Yeah, but we say that all the time. It's like, imagine how good what's it called a boy butt must be that you're willing to ruin your whole life for it, lose your whole life for it. Like, you can't dispute that in an argument. Like, these pedophiles know what's going to happen to them if they fuck boys, and they're still willing to risk it, right? Like, you said something almost akin to that on this exact show. But
I think I was
in
actually
a court
talking
of law,
about homosexuality and how good head must be from a man, but I don't know.
Or how good head must be from a man. Maybe it was that, but I think we even said it about boy butt. But it's like, but in a court of law, you could defend that. You're not advocating it. But we're not talking about the court of law. We're talking about the court of public opinion. Like, I remember. Sure, but the court of public opinion is a fickle place anyway.
It's a fickle place, but it can. It's a fickle place, but it can ruin you. And what I mean by ruin, listen, Milo's a piece of shit. I don't even know why we're arguing him, because Milo should never be used as an example, because Milo isn't a poster boy for freedom of speech. He's a poster boy for cheap speech, and cheap speech has no value. When you say things like you're an admitted troll and you're only trying to get a rise out of people, you should be dismissed from the conversation. It's different when you're bringing something to the conversation and you actually want to communicate with people, and you actually want to build, and you actually want to bring something of value to the conversation. When you just talking to talk to get a rise out of people, fuck you. So
I agree completely, and further, just to add on that real quick, Milo didn't always used to be a troll, or now he even calls himself a performer or a comedian. Now he's using that label. You used to be a journalist, and you used to be a political thinker, or whatever the fuck you are. Now that you're getting heat, all of a sudden, you want to wrap that comedian cloak around you for protection. You want to wrap that I'm a performer cloak around you for protection, because you can't stand behind what you say and defend what you say. If you were a good comedian, then you would put shit out there that you could actually defend. But now you just want to abuse free speech and abuse what it is to be a comedian by just saying random shit and going, oh, no, I'm allowed to say it. I have free license because I'm a comedian. I hate those motherfuckers. I hate motherfuckers.
Free license because you say you're an admitted troll. Like, being an admitted troll don't mean shit. Like,
that's pussy to me. Do the work. Listen, do the fucking work.
Being an admitted troll is doing one of two things. Number one is saying that you really don't believe the shit that you're saying. And number two, it's saying that you can't stand on what you're saying. And you know that you're being offensive. So when you get in trouble, you want to say, hey, y'all shouldn't have took me serious anyway. I'm a fucking troll. No. He deserved to get his motherfucking book deal taken away. He deserved to get fucking dropped from Breitbart or Breitbart or whatever this shit is. And you had terrible time in using him as a motherfucking example.
Listen, horrible time.
That's the yo mama joke. My mama dead.
My mama did.
I'm like, okay, so Shorts is trying to normalize Milo on a day that it came out that Milo tried to normalize being a pedophile.
No, and here's the reality of the matter. It sucks. That fucking timing is absolutely horrible. But again, if you judge it contextually, where I didn't know about this information when I put it out there, he still said awful things before that.
Absolutely.
My point is, we pick and choose what is awful, and we pick and choose what is awful based on the fucking beat that's behind it. If the beat that's behind it is hot, if Metro Boomin made that shit, okay, awful is good. Awful is popping. Let's go. Dance in the club. I was defending women. Bro, I'm out here saying, hey, we shouldn't be calling women bitches and thoughts. I had women telling me to shut my ass up and sit my ass down. Listen, bitch, I'm defending you.
You can't say that. See, now you got a target on your back. You can't based off what you did to the Migos. You can't call a woman a bitch ever again. Andrew.
Oh no, I can't call you a bitch if I'm defending you and you're telling me not to defend you. You're acting like a bitch.
Listen,
any woman who you defend and they tell you not to defend them and people calling you a bitch is acting like a bitch. So
listen,
you can call them a bitch.
the Migos are
That's
just being affectionate.
That's part of my definition of a bitch.
The Migos are just being affectionate. They just fucking on the girls. That's the thought. They showing the thought some love.
Oh, I bet. Look, all I'm saying, listen, and I don't want Migos necessarily to change their lyrics. That's not what I'm saying. I just want consistency in how we judge people. I don't want this selective offense nonsense. I don't want people being upset at George Lopez for the same thing that they celebrate in the Migos. I don't want people being upset at Amy Schumer for the same thing they celebrate in another gangster rapper, right? Or a fucking country musician or anything. I'm sure there's, I don't listen to a lot of country, but I'm sure there's tons of country songs with fucked up ass misogynistic lyrics that we are cool with because there's a nice little guitar twang in the background. Okay? Let's have a consistent feeling of offensiveness. All I want is the creative freedom of a gangster rapper, baby.
You have that, though. You absolutely positively have that. And the other thing about that situation, too, trust me, the Migos lyrics got vetted thoroughly before they went on Ellen. Like, let's be clear about that. That's daytime television. They're not putting nobody on there that's going to cause them to lose any sponsors or any advertisers. And we saw that a month ago when Kim Burrell made her homophobic statements, and Ellen was like, nope, you're not coming on this show. I mean, granted, Ellen is a part of the LGBT community, but she knew the backlash that she was going to get by having somebody like Kim Burrell on. Having the Migos on, Ellen probably don't even know what the hell thought is. Like, that's cold. For in urban culture, like black culture, like just hip hop culture, period. The Migos are harmless compared to Milo. Harmless. Period.
Yeah.
They're harmless compared to Milo. Like now, if we was talking about,
but here again, you're treating them like children. Like you're doing the exact same thing that I was talking about before, which is, they're harmless, they're unaffected, no, they're not going to hurt you, they're just little babies, they're little boys.
Oh, by the way,
they can't do anything.
We got a guest in the building too, by the way.
Who's here?
She has become one of my greatest friends in a short period of time. She is a CNN political commentator. She's a lawyer. What else? What am I missing?
I'm black.
She's black. Okay. Angela Rye is here.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, Angela Rye.
How are you?
This is Andrew Schultz.
Yes.
What you been doing all day, Angela?
Working. Meetings.
Angela's about to move to New York.
I don't know about that.
So, Angela, I don't know if you just walked in right now or you've been here for a while. Do you know what we're talking about?
No, I walked in the tail end of Charlemagne mispronouncing Breitbart.
What is?
Oh yeah. I mean, I don't think Charlemagne's ever pronounced anything with more than one syllable right. So you should listen to him read the ingredients of the Blue Apron ad that we had. It's one of my favorite things to hear. Yeah.
Listen,
ask him to say quinoa.
Quinoa.
No, how did you say it when you just looked
What
at
did
it?
I say?
Quinoa? Did you say quinoa?
You said,
I
think you said
Quincy.
Kubo.
Quincy.
I think you just, Quincy.
Did you really say, where'd you get those letters?
It's Quinoa.
Yeah, but so where's the C?
Doesn't matter if you know how to pronounce it, if you know what it is. If you actually eat it, it's a grain.
No, but you called it Quincy.
Quincy?
Did you really say Quincy?
No, I said queen.
You said some shit.
Quinoa.
I said quinoa.
Yeah, that sounds
Quinoa.
A lot of
or
people.
quinoa.
I know a young lady named Quinoa.
I bet you do. Quinoa. A lot of people say quinoa. I've heard that.
This is a post
welcome,
Andrew put
Angela.
on Instagram, right?
Oh, okay.
Read the caption.
Selective outrage is interesting to me. If an athlete, politician, or businessman said, "Fucking on your bitch, she a thought." I had to read it like that because that's not how they say it. They're a misogynist. And I'm going to get in trouble because my pastor might listen to this show and I'm cussing.
Your pastor like the Migos.
No. Rapper says it, they're on Ellen. What's really the difference between Ann Coulter or... What? Do you really believe this? And Milo and our favorite gangster rappers? And you said gangster.
Oh, absolutely.
You said gangster with an ER. besides a fair ass beat by Mike Will made.
Fire ass beat, Miss Campman. Now get on me about Campman
What'd I say?
stuff. You said
Damn,
fair.
yo.
You said fair ass
Yo,
beat.
Hey,
Angela.
yeah, I can't
Come
read.
on, Angela.
Fire ass beat.
Sorry. I got stuck on getting ready to say Mike Will made it. Bill Maher is evil for putting Milo on his show. Ellen is cool for putting. So this is the classic textbook definition of false equivalency, Andrew. I don't agree with your statement.
How is
at all.
that?
Because they're not. Please tell me you know the difference between hate speech and people utilizing hip hop as an art form to communicate to different communities. Like there's a completely different standard.
So what
for
are
hate
you
speech.
communicating to women when you call them bitches and thoughts?
They
Is
ain't
that
talking to me.
love?
No, they're
But is
not
that-
talking to me.
Is
They're
that
talking
love
to thoughts.
or what would you?
I
what
don't.
would
I
you
don't
call
think
that?
that the song is a love song. It's like that's like saying that Kenny G playing a jazz song just strictly instrumental is the same thing as Bing Crosby singing a melodic romantic love song. I don't
R.
think
Kelly
it's the same
singing
thing.
"I'm fucking you tonight."
Which is different from Bump and Grind, which is different from
But words have meaning. Words have
do
meaning,
have meaning,
right?
but
we
please
we know what the
understand-
word bitch means, and we
Okay,
know
but-
what the word thought means, and
Okay.
those aren't
What
terms
does
of
thought mean,
endearment.
Andrew?
Huh?
What does thought mean?
That hoe over there.
So that means
Hoe-
that it's not over
hoe-
here, which means it's not me. So I'm just confused.
I didn't ask if they were speaking to Angela Rye specifically. I said, is that offensive to women? Like, you could take the same thing with the N-word. If somebody just
Here we
says
go.
the N-word, they might not be saying specifically to you, but it's still offensive to black people for saying the
Angela
N-word.
Rye has
correct?
already made 5 Rye faces in 30 seconds. This might be a new
I'm
record.
just saying, if a white dude called somebody or just said the M word, right?
Okay.
You wouldn't go, well, they weren't calling me the M word, so it's not offensive. They're just using their music and artistic freedom to express things to different communities. Would you have the same
and I
reaction?
appreciate that too. However, that's another false equivalency. So we're just down a
Rabbit hole of false
equivalency.
I don't think you know what false equivalency means.
Oh, you don't?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, well
So
you roll with
maybe
that.
we should start there. We should start at false equivalency.
It definitely is,
Define false equivalency.
but it definitely is a false equivalency because it is a difference between hate speech and record lyrics in a rap song.
Well, let's define it since Andrew doesn't think we know. So it's when you compare two things that can't be compared because they're on two different playing fields. They're completely different. It's
Why
like
are they
here's
different?
here's a good example for you, Andrew, since you don't think
Why
I know.
don't we just talk
Wait,
about
let
this
me
example?
answer your question. It is when somebody says you're comparing apples to oranges. That is a false equivalency. An apple cannot be an orange. Even if it
No,
has
but they're both
seeds, it
fruit.
cannot be an orange. It is fruit, but I'm trying to give you something that you understand since you think I'm basic, so I'm giving you a basic definition.
I never said you're basic. I just think you're making an argument that's convenient to you, and I think that
it's
you're
not.
failing
It's
to
not a
realize
convenient argument. I
that
just
this
disagree
is
that
definitely a
Migos is the same
situation
thing as Milo. Like
where these things are
this
the same.
dude is
I didn't say
he's a
that they were the
pervert. Like this dude is he talked
Right.
about pedophilia like this was a positive thing. That's completely different than somebody
Right.
singing about being bad and bougie. Like it's just
So,
completely different. Or
to
rapping
give you
about being bad.
context, Angela, I posted this before I knew about the pedophile comment that came out.
Yeah, but forget the
But
pedophile
what about all
comments.
the
Think
hate
about the
speech
things he
that
said
he-
about
yeah.
race, the things he said
and
about homosexuals.
I would argue that calling women bitches and calling them thoughts is hateful. Now, if you don't think that that's the case, I would like you to tell me what is hateful to call a woman. If that's not hateful to call a woman a bitch or a thought, what words are hateful towards women, or are no words
I'll
hateful?
give you a really good example. Donald Trump suggesting that he, without permission, grabbed women by the pussy is pretty hateful. It's actually sexual assault. So I'm not even glorifying.
He said they let you grab them by the pussy.
Yeah,
so
well,
that's
wasn't
not
nobody
sexual
letting
assault.
you do that.
You're
There were
contradicting
other
yourself.
women.
You're contradicting yourself because you just called women a bitch like 5 minutes ago, and I told you that.
No, I called a woman who was acting like a bitch.
You can't listen. All you're doing is moving the goalposts.
I'm not calling all women bitches. I'm
That's
calling a
the-
woman
neither
who's
is
acting
Migos.
like a bitch.
Exactly.
A bitch.
So it's
Neither
hate
is Migos.
speech. So by definition, what you're doing is hate speech.
Say again?
By your definition, what you're doing is hate speech.
Yes, I'm hating on that specific woman. Yes, that's
So
correct.
Andrew, let me just tell you this, just to be fair. I actually hate the B word. I really, really do. I really like that song.
Why?
Because I just don't like it. I think that there are other words.
Why don't you like it?
Because I'm trying to answer you. I think there are other words that we can use. It just sounds harsh. I really don't like any cuss words. I'm trying to
No,
be
that is true.
deliberative.
Angela does not cuss.
Why don't you like the B word? Why don't you like the B word? Do you
So I
think
guess
maybe
you don't
because
like
it's
my
hateful
answer.
to women?
No, I don't think that it's hateful to women. I think it's just
The word bitch isn't hateful to women.
Jesus.
He's moving
That's what
the
you're
goalposts.
saying to me right now.
not
I
gonna
just
let
want
me-
to.
So
I want,
said no 3
I want
times.
Angela Rye to go on record saying the word bitch is not hateful to women.
I don't think it's hateful to women. I think that it is just a
Okay.
terrible word. I would call a dude a bitch. Like it's not. I don't think it's exclusive to women. I think that it's an unfortunate use a word in our vernacular, and I wish that we could bury it. Like
And,
they didn't
Schultz, do you hate
You're
women?
calling
No,
women a female dog.
Schultz, do you hate
That's
women?
what you're calling
You
them.
did you
Schultz,
just
do you
call-
hate- do
did
you
you
hate
just
women?
use it?
Do I hate women? No. Of course
Okay,
I
so
don't
when
hate women.
hold on. So when you call a woman a bitch, are you saying that because you hate her?
Yeah, I hate her specifically. Yeah, or she's acting like a bitch in the definition of a bitch in my head. Yeah, so I'm describing her. It's
So
a
when you
description.
use the word bitch towards a woman, you're saying that because you hate that particular woman.
or she's acting like a bitch, in my personal opinion. So the way I define bitch, she's fulfilling that statement. Much like if a guy is acting like a fuckboy and a girl calls that guy a fuckboy, it's because she meets the requirements of a fuckboy in her mind. Or
So
he
why
meets the
can't
requirements of a fuckboy in her mind.
why can't the Migos be talking about a particular woman? Why can't they be specifically referring to a bitch or a thought? Based off the logic you just said, why can't the Migos be speaking to a specific woman? Why can't they be saying this person is a bitch, this person is a thought? Why they can't be being specific? Why are you making it a generalization?
They absolutely can. You're 100% right, and that's probably the case here. They're not speaking generically. I think every one of their songs, there's a specific woman that they're talking about. They've never used the word bitch generically towar's women. I think I must have misinterpreted.
No.
You're 100% right. No, there's a first and last name for every single woman that they refer to as bitch in their music, and probably every rapper that just refers to women as bitches. When bitches and hoes, when that term is used, it's probably there's at least a good amount of women that they know their Instagram, they know their phone number, they know exactly who they are. They're not just using that as a general term. You're 100% right.
The difference between Milo and somebody like the Migos, Milo has targeted certain individuals. Like the guy went in on Leslie Jones for no damn reason. He got banned from Twitter for stalking who was the young lady he was? I forgot who the young lady was who he was stalking, but he got banned from Twitter for that. Like, he's targeted certain individuals. Like, he's not being general in his statements at all. But he is being general in his statements when he says things about African Americans, or he's being general in his statements when he says certain things about women. He's not being specific in those cases. So I think that's the difference between the Migos and Milo. But like I told you earlier, I don't understand why you're putting that target on your back, because you are a comedian and you are going to say something that's going to offend somebody at some point in your career, and they are going to attack you for it. And when
I do it every week.
And soon as you say I'm just a comedian, they're going to be like, no, Andrew. You can't hide behind that.
I've never hid behind the I'm a comedian cloak. I refuse to do it because I think it's pussy.
It's not,
I will be accountable for everything I say. That being said, I would love to have the artistic freedom of the Migos.
You do,
I would
though.
love to have the artistic freedom of Gucci Mane. I would love that. But if I post this thing on the internet yesterday, it trends. It trends if I post that.
Yeah, because it was kind of ridiculous.
I don't really know how to explain it. Yeah.
And real quick,
but time out, and the fact that you keep pinpointing rappers. Like, you act like rock stars haven't done this. You act like
dude, rock stars. I don't know if you guys have.
You act like R&B singers haven't done this.
Songs. Like people give R. Kelly a lot of shit for like fucking kids or whatever like that. There's a Rolling Stones song, I'm pretty sure it's a Rolling Stones song, I'm not exactly sure, where they openly sing about fucking this girl who's 15.
Yeah.
Like, they say how old she is in the song, and they talk about how she fucked her, and people are okay with this. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, since when it was okay to fuck 15-year-olds in the 70s? That's cool. Now it's bad.
So
when
that's
you pee on them, it's
so
bad.
that's the problem. Being that it's been other artists, because this is just an artistic thing. This is what entertainers do. All songwriters write controversial lyrics or say things that people may not agree with. It's been going on since the beginning of time. The fact that you specifically just targeted rappers is what pissed everybody off.
No, I didn't just target. I didn't specifically just target rappers.
It's not that you targeted rappers. It's that you compared
I spoke about Migos.
them to Milo.
Absolutely.
I compared gangster rappers, and this is the real difference. And if you look at the comments,
not
you'll see
rap
it.
either. Like, how do you define gangster rap?
I compared gangster rappers to Milo and Ann Coulter. The difference is we as a culture, and this is everybody, have more intellectual respect for Milo and Ann Coulter than we do for rappers. And that was the second point I was trying to point out.
No,
I hold gangster rappers to the same level of accountability as I hold Ann Coulter and Milo.
That's ridiculous.
But
First of all, it's also,
if you look on the comments, you will see people going, "Oh, they're just some kids. Oh, these kids. Oh, they don't. You can't really take them seriously. They dismiss them. These are adults.
But I guess,
we're dismissing
my
as
question
children.
for you is
that to me is soft bigotry.
let Angela talk.
That is soft bigotry.
It's not soft bigotry.
Let Angela talk.
Two issues. One, how are you defining gangster rap? One, and then two, how are you deciding that these folks who have a song or maybe an album, right, is the same thing as two people who have built their careers upon bigotry, xenophobia, at least in Ann Coulter's space, homophobic kind of talk, and I just don't understand how you're comparing. Like, they're not even comparable. So I think you got pushback because because they're black and they say bitch, they're gangster rappers?
No, they're gangster rappers because they celebrate guns, drugs, and misogyny and violence in their lyrics. That's how I would define gangster rap. And if you want to talk about what Ann Coulter has made a living doing, I don't think that she's any more culpable to make a living hating on homosexuals than someone who makes a living celebrating violence, misogyny, and drug and gun culture. I mean, are you here putting one of these things at a higher level than the others?
I think what I'm saying to you is that they're not comparable. Like I said, I don't believe that they fit the genre of gangster rappers. Like, they're not gang members. It's not gangster rap. That's a genre that is really pretty much died out. So that's why it's interesting to me. I think that it fits the narrative of black men. So
what's gangster rap for you?
What black men are, when black men are deemed inherently violent and criminal, you're feeding into that narrative. So that's probably another reason why you got pounced on. And when you're talking about Ann Coulter and Milo, given where we are right now as a country, and it's uber divisive, I would hope that you would understand why your post would be inflammatory and why people would be frustrated by it.
Yeah, it's supposed to be inflammatory because I see
congratulations, you won.
I see inconsistency in people. But my issue is this, I get upset at people, like, I talk about a specific rap group, and I talk about even specific rappers as gangster rap, and then you conflate that with all black people.
No. I was giving you an example for why people were probably frustrated by it. They're not even in the gangster rap genre.
So, but you're still conflating gangster rappers as all black people.
No,
and you're
I'm not.
Talking about
I'm trying
the
to
black
tell you
male
why
narrative and how black men are viewed as more violent.
I'm saying you're doing that.
That's what she just said.
No, she didn't say that's what it was. She said you're feeding into that narrative.
Repeat what you just said. Repeat what you just said, and then I'll.
I don't remember. You got to run that back. I don't remember what I said, but I know
what you just said was. No. I'm
definitely not letting you translate it for me.
You're feeding into it.
But the point is very simple. It's that when you say that this particular group fit in the gangster rapper genre, and you're telling me the reason why, I'm telling you that's still not it. It's saying because they are black men, because this is what they sound like, they are inherently violent and criminal, which makes them gangster. And I'm saying that is the problem. So people probably also jumped on you for that. It's not right. I don't think that black men are inherently violent and criminal. I'm saying when you do something that fits into that narrative, it's inflammatory and people get pissed off and they lash out. That's what you saw.
And she's absolutely right, because that is what people were saying to you, Andrew.
What I'm saying is I'm talking about human beings that are celebrating drugs, guns, and misogyny. I don't give a fuck what color their skin is. I'm talking about human beings that are celebrating these three things, which I would consider gangster. Okay,
But that doesn't
I
mean
don't
it's gangster
care
rap.
what color it is. Listen, I don't care. It doesn't matter what
It
color.
does,
You could
because
have
you're
a Puerto
taking
Rican guy doing
definitions
it.
that we know to be something else, and you're changing them to apply to your standard, which is why it wasn't
Wait a minute,
inflammatory.
is that not gangster rap? Tell me, what is gangster rap to you? Because now a bitch isn't offensive to women, and gangster rap isn't about guns,
I did
drugs,
not
and
say.
misogyny.
In fact, Andrew, I
So
told you
we're
that I didn't
changing
like the word
a lot
bitch.
of definitions.
Okay, well.
Well, you tell me what gangster rap
Angela,
is to you.
Do you ever get tired of arguing with white men all day?
Why do I have to be a white guy?
Because
you
Why does
are.
everything have to be fucking race-based?
Because you are white.
God, stop blinding yourselves for
What are you
1
talking about?
second. Stop playing
He
the
said
identity
stop blinding
politics for
yourself.
one
Hold on.
second.
So Andrew, you're not white?
Of course I'm white. It has nothing to do with this conversation. My whiteness doesn't make gangster rap change its definition. My whiteness doesn't make the word
Something
bitch
did.
change its definition.
Listen,
but you're not willing to take an L.
This is the facts of the matter. I said to Angela, do
He
you get
said we're
tired?
not willing to take
Alternative
an L. Why
facts.
you
I said
getting
to Angela,
trolled?
do you get tired of
We got
arguing with white people all day?
alternative facts.
Listen. I said to Angela, do you get tired of arguing with white men all day? If you watch her on CNN, if you listen to her right now on this podcast, it looks like she argues with white men all day long.
I argued with
What was the argument you got into last night?
So that was actually, it was in the daytime, but it was about whether or not Obama was more anti-Semitic than Trump.
Yes.
And I don't even know how we got onto that, because the conversation was about what he was doing at the
African American Museum. I didn't. That lost me too.
Yeah, but it's the red herring thing. So it's not being able to defend your points with just, here's what happened, here's how I perceive it. It's like, here's what happened, but he did it way worse.
Yes.
So that may not be a false equivalency, but that is an argument technique called a red herring, right? It's like, this wasn't the point, but I'm going to spin us over down this rabbit hole because this is more useful, and I can piss off my base talking about Obama more than I can get engaged talking about Trump and defending his record. I can. It's indefensible.
Yeah, he had no defense against what Trump had done, so he started talking about Hillary and Barack Obama, and I'm like, what does that have to do with Trump? And that's what you and I forgot who the host was.
It was Brianna.
Brianna, she kept saying, but Donald Trump is the president. We're talking about Trump.
Right.
Because he had no argument about anything else.
No, he did have arguments about other things, but they weren't the topics at hand. And I think that's the challenge. It becomes very difficult when we put ourselves in these situations often where it has to be black or white. Mm-hmm. No pun intended. Okay.
I agree.
Okay.
Now,
okay,
are we
hold
doing
on,
the same
Andrew.
point? Let her finish her
I was at
point.
the comma. I was just at the comma. But
Okay.
most people in this country, and I would argue globally, live their lives in the gray. We're not very clearly black or white on any one thing, and things most often become more gray to us, varying shades of gray, because we get greater understanding. And it doesn't mean that we ever rest in, either the black or the white. It just means here are my thought processes on these various and sundry issues. Mm-hmm. And I don't know where I sit or what I've concluded, but this is my current process. This is my current thought evolution.
And nobody ever talks about nuance, like we say on the show all the time.
Yeah.
Like, it's not enough nuance. Like, even with the situation we're talking about right now, it's not just Milo says hateful things, Migos say hateful things. No, it's a lot of nuance and a lot of gray that goes into both those situations. The fact that Migos are entertainers, the fact that they are rappers, the fact that, people don't take rappers as serious as they would at Ann Coulter.
Yeah.
And why should you?
Yeah. And Andrew, to
Because
your
they're
point,
both human beings.
But that's
They're
not
both human beings. They're both American citizens, and they should be held accountable for what they say. And I care to do that with somebody. I think if you're an adult, you're over 18 years old, that your language means something and that you should be held accountable for it. And I'm not going to just chalk this shit up as, oh, he's a comedian, he could get away with it, or, oh, he's a gangster rapper, he could get away with it. It's like words mean things.
You're right.
Words have power.
You're right.
Words
I
have
hope you stop
influence.
saying gangster rap by the time this is over.
No, he's not. But
What do you want to say?
Listen,
Just
Well,
rap.
I want to. I mean,
rap.
because no, there's not. There's many different types of rap. I'm not going to
agree,
put.
and
I'm
this
not going to
isn't
put
gangster
gangster
rap.
rap in the same category as what J. Cole does. I'm not going to put the same
Nobody is
category
going
as
to
what
agree
Chance
with you
does.
that Bad and Bougie is a gangster rap.
Bad and
record.
Bougie is not a gangster rapper.
Nobody is going to agree with you on that.
It's not even
That Bad and
close.
Bougie is a gangster rap
It's
song.
not a gangster rap
It's
record.
not.
All right, fair. Now, what makes something gangster rap? What
I would argue that it was a decade plus ago, right? Like, I think that there were certain 90s, late 80s songs that were gangster rap. You're literally talking about, in some songs, gang violence. NWA was deemed gangster rap. Ice Cube initially was deemed gangster rap.
What about YG?
What?
YG has certain records, but then YG also has a lot of socially conscious stuff too. But YG does have certain records. But one thing about YG's
Of course,
not.
there's gangsters, right? What about Gucci? Like, there's gangster rappers out still.
Yeah, Gucci definitely has killed a few people in his records.
But that, yeah.
That is a fact.
So Angela, Angela, what you're doing right now is you're doing the same thing that you accuse. You're doing the same thing you accuse those people on CNN or whatever show you were doing, right? Is instead of engaging in the discussion, you're eliminating the topic from discussion.
No, that's what you're doing. No, show that's
I'm
what
like,
you're
what
doing.
is gangster rap?
No,
I'm like, well, let me finish my point. That was the comma. Let me finish my point. So when I say what is gangster rap, you say there is no more gangster rap. That was 10 years ago. So now gangster rap is off the table.
Examples.
Now we can't even discuss it.
No, you can discuss it.
Your example was 10 years ago. So I want to know your definition of gangster
20.
rap. What makes something gangster?
Yeah, I think I just described that. I think I just described that. And the point that I was raising isn't to say, oh, you can't use the term anymore. I'm just telling you that genre existed then, and I don't think it does now. Like, I remember when they had the Bloods and the Crips come out with like a Unity album, and that was gangster rap, but it was still a Unity album. In the early 90s. And so I wasn't telling you that we can't talk about it. I'm just saying I cannot think of a frame where that fits anymore. I can't think of a mold.
So YG isn't gangster rap to you, or Gucci ain't gangster rap.
I don't think that Gucci Man. I don't know a Gucci Man. I don't think
that's not gangster.
I don't know YG well enough, but I don't think that Gucci Man is gangster rap.
Gucci's definitely gangster rap.
Talking about killing people.
Yeah, Gucci has actually killed
what we're doing.
I'm not.
So
saying
here's what we're doing right now.
Don't push him.
But no. But Angela, this is what I'm talking about right now. So now your opinion on what makes something gangster or what doesn't is skewed because you don't know what gangster is.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Now,
I disagree with that. But you don't think that there are some records, whether they're rap or heavy metal or whatever, where they talk about violence and it still doesn't make it gangster rap, like, or gangster heavy metal or gangster jazz? Like,
well, it's called death metal. There's a term for it.
Okay, thank you, Andrew. I don't listen to that. But I appreciate.
Well, you don't have to listen to it to know what it is.
I appreciate. I'm being snarky. I'm saying I appreciate that. I had never heard of that.
But no, let's
makes my head hurt.
We can be specific in this situation though, because you gave a specific example. The example you gave was.
I just want to know what is gangster to her. You have to be in the Bloods or Crips 10 years ago to be gangster. That's like a really specific
20 years
thing.
too, and I gave you several examples beyond the Bloods and Crips, but that's probably only all that you heard.
Yeah, I mean you've had plenty of.
All I heard is
you've had plenty of music recently that has celebrated the gang culture, that celebrates the drug culture, which celebrates violence. But in this specific situation, you specifically used Migos, Bad and Bougie, and compared it to Milo and Ann Coulter. Like you used specifics. Like you didn't just say gangster rap. You used specifics. You just the moral to the story is. What you was trying to say could have made some sense, but I don't think that you thought it through because number one, you didn't know Milo was going to come out as a pedophile that day. But you should have never been using Milo as an example, period, based off all the things that he said prior to that. And you were specific by using that one line, the fucking on your bitch, she's a thought, compared to all the things Ann Coulter and Milo have said. Nah, Schultz.
No, what I use is that specific line. If it could be said by an athlete. If LeBron James was just saying in a random press conference, they're like, hey, what are you going to do this weekend? Well, I'm going to fuck on your bitch because she's a ... That would go up in flames.
No, it wouldn't.
If there was if Bad and Bougie never came out, if Bad and Bougie never came out at all, if that was never a song and randomly out of nowhere, LeBron just took that line.
So you just want it out of context.
Because LeBron's married with kids and a role model. But if
Even if it was single.
If DeMarcus Cousins was to say it, they'd be like, oh.
No,
okay.
They'd be like, this dude is a misogynist. We got to stop it. Just like they treated George Lopez when he called that girl a bitch in the audience. Oh, he's a misogynist. By the way, sexist.
By the way, we never talked about that. George Lopez was just emotional that day because the girl said she was a fan of George, and she said she wasn't.
She sat front row.
She said she wasn't even heckling him. She said she was like standing up to be like, "Yeah, I'm Mexican and black." Like she was like agreeing with his joke. Like he flipped out for no reason. You didn't see her.
He could have definitely been emotional. and I heard about that.
Yeah, she said she stood up like she stood up like, "Yeah, I'm Mexican and black, motherfucker," and he was like, "Oh, you don't like my shit? You offended? Get the fuck out!" Like he was just emotional for no reason. He was on edge. For no reason. She was like, I'm a fan. I'm still a fan of him. And she came to his defense and said everybody needs to leave him the fuck alone. She came to his defense.
Good. I think that's awesome of her. I think that's awesome.
But George hasn't issued an apology.
I mean, why should he? He doesn't have to.
He jumped out the window.
She interrupted the show. She stood up. Sit down.
Listen, sensitive ass comedian, man. I think sensitive ass fans. Nobody needs to be that sensitive at a comedy show.
Dude, nobody's more sensitive than comedians. Trust me. I talk to them all the time. Nobody is more, and you know this, Charlemagne. You know comedians. You know how fucking sensitive they are.
Tears of a clown.
The most sensitive place. Tears of a fucking clown. Dead serious. Nobody's more sensitive to them in the entire world.
But this is why I said, being that you are a comedian and you know that people are so sensitive, why would you put a target on your back to where the next time you say something that's remotely offensive, they're going to jump on you?
Because I care about what I do, man. I put work into this shit. I don't just go out there and say some stupid ass fucking joke that doesn't make sense or is a complete logical fallacy. I go out there and I try to make justifications for the shit that I fucking do. Everything that I do, I want to be able to back up 100%. And I make sure that shit is still fucked up and offensive, and I'll be able to back it up.
But guess what? Guess what shows you can be able to back it up? It can be the most well thought out joke ever. It can have the most logic behind it. But if they want to say that it offended them and they want to get you out the paint, they're
gonna do it anyway, dog. They're gonna do it, but you'll never see me defending pedophilia like fucking what's his face did, because that's not a joke. That's just straight defending pedophilia. It's fucking disgusting.
It's a joke to Louis C.K.
No, it wasn't. Louis C.K.'s joke was different.
But guess what? Some people will say this. You shouldn't even try to make a joke about it. Even if, like I just said, even if it makes sense, if it start out like Louis C.K.'s was, if he even had a point, even if he was comparing it to something, some people will say you shouldn't even be remotely joking about that.
No. See, that I disagree with, because that they're allowed to have their opinion, but now we're getting into freedom of speech territory, and you need freedom of speech, and that freedom of speech exists on both sides.
But you also have limitations on free speech. There's limitations. If it incites violence, then that is hate speech, and that is different. There's an exception to free speech.
That is true.
Right, but
that's what Milo does.
Here's the thing about free speech, and it's something I've been thinking about a lot. Free speech is the only weapon we have against bad ideas. Sam Harris was talking about this. And the problem is sometimes the people in power believe in the bad ideas. For example, slavery. They believed in that bad idea. The reason you need to protect freedom of speech, and that's both ways, is because that's the only way we can criticize bad ideas. When we start limiting free speech in any way at all, when we start clipping away the things that you can or can't say, we take away our most powerful weapon for change.
I disagree with that.
Yeah, you gotta have rules.
You cannot have speech that incites violence, and that is what you've seen. That is why you've seen a rise in hate incidents since Donald Trump was elected president. That is the problem. The reason why Berkeley students were protesting Milo's appearance on campus is because his speech incites violence. That's completely different. There are limitations to free speech. The Supreme Court has spoken out on this for centuries, for decades.
You can't walk into an airport and say, "God damn, all these Muslims got bombs." Just because you can.
I mean, I agree with you.
You might cause a freaking stampede. People trying to run.
I agree with you. I agree with you in that regard, but I don't agree with you in terms of stopping Milo from speaking, and I don't agree with you in terms of because once we stop people from speaking, I disagree with so much of what that guy says. But once we stop people from speaking in any way, we literally clip our wings in our ability to make change.
I think the problem is it's not.
You need to perfect free speech is what this entire shit is built on, and we take it for granted. It's what this entire Western culture is built on, and it is the only tool that we have for change. And when we take away someone's ability to say wild shit on the right, we also take away their ability to say wild shit on the left.
No, but what are the limitations on that, though? Like, I guess my question is, if you're saying, that these certain people don't belong here, there's American exceptionalism, but the browner America gets, the less exceptional it is. When you say those things, you are planting seeds in people's minds that say, I need to do something about it then. I need to make America white again. I need to, you know what I mean? And that is the challenge. So you're right. We do need to protect free speech, but there is a balance. And what does that balance look like?
I think personally you should be allowed to, I think you should be allowed to I know this sounds fucked up, but hate speech, you should be allowed to, have opinions that might seem hateful, just as you should be allowed to have opinions that aren't hateful at all. And those opinions should combat them. For every stupid, asinine, racist thing that Milo says, we should have 10,000 more people saying the exact opposite and why he's an idiot for saying it, and using our free speech to combat that. Regardless of if I agree or disagree with your opinion, you should be allowed to express it. You need to express it. And the second we take away Milo's ability to express his opinion, we take away our own. So in this weird, fucked up way, I have to protect his ability to speak so I can protect yours, Angela, Charlemagne's, and mine. Because the second we take away a little, it takes away a little from everybody else.
We didn't have this exception, so I think we've been just fine. And to your point, like if he's not, I think that now he's branded himself in a way, whether it's the Leslie Jones incident or whatever, he is a self-proclaimed troll.
Yep.
He's someone who has engaged in hate speech and knows that the things that he said has resulted in harm to people. And that is a speech that I don't want protected. I'm not saying that you can't have dissenting views or that I never want to hear what a KKK member really thinks or where they got their ideals from. I think that the challenge is giving that a platform. So I understand the purpose of the protest at Berkeley, and I think that just like he had a right to maybe go, they had a right to protest, and that's the reason why his speech was canceled.
I don't have no problem with free speech. I don't like cheap speech. I don't like speech that doesn't bring any value to the conversation whatsoever.
Yeah, I agree with you completely, but to Angela's point, and this is what people are missing, the people in Berkeley, those who didn't do anything violent, which I'm sure like the majority of them, the vast majority of them, were exercising their free speech.
Right, to protest.
That's beautiful. Protest is part of it.
Speech. Yeah.
It's constitutionally protected free speech. And when we just look at that protest as the like vast minority, when we look at it just for the violence and we don't look at all those other people out there going, you know what, this guy's got his ability to speak, but guess what? We're here too, motherfucker. And we're going to say that what you're saying is stupid. And we're going to let every person that comes out of your show or whatever you even call it, we're going to let them know that we think it's stupid too. And we're not about that. That's beautiful to me. That's America.
Yeah, but you know what I don't like? I don't like when somebody says that they're a troll and then the next things that come out of their mouth are rhetoric that potentially could be dangerous to individuals or groups. Because therefore you're not even taking your speech serious enough. But the things that are coming out of your mouth could influence motherfuckers to attack a Leslie Jones in the street.
Yeah.
Or attack a gay man in the street. So that's why people like Milo need to be silenced.
Well, dude, no, that's why, like I've said this entire podcast, we need to be accountable for what we say. That's why I don't want that comedian cloak. I don't want that performer cloak, that protectionist nonsense where I can say something and people dismiss it because of my profession.
You leaving your vest at home when you don't need to.
I want to own what I say, bro.
Listen, you leaving your vest at home when you don't need to. You should be happy that you have that
that's
license,
pussy, bro. That's pussy.
It's not though.
That's pussy, bro.
That's
pussy ass shit. Own what you say. Be a fucking man about it. Own what you say. And if you're not willing to own what you say, then shut the fuck up.
But you're not a troll,
people
though.
out there protesting.
But you're not a troll.
That's what I'm saying. I think, in my personal opinion, I think trolls take advantage of free speech. They abuse free speech. We've got this amazing thing called free speech where you actually get to say what the fuck you feel. But you just acknowledge the
abuses are what are the things that are not protected. You just put yourself right back where we started, which is there are some elements of speech that should not be protected. They are what you just said. They're not protected forms of speech. So you opening your mouth in and of itself is not free speech. There are certain forms that are exempt from those protections because either they're so hateful or they incite violence or whatever. There are different forms of speech, and all of them should not be protected.
Right. I agree. If there are certain situations where absolutely, like you said, yelling fire in a crowded theater and, bomb at the airport, these types of things where people's lives are immediately at danger, we can't do. Absolutely. But what I'm saying is when we have this thing called freedom of speech, which you and I can exercise, right? This really potent weapon. And then you just take advantage of it to test it and you don't even feel what you say. Like, you got people who are willing to die for it. Like, Martin Luther King died because of the shit he was saying. You know what I'm saying? Like, Abraham Lincoln died because of the shit that they were saying. They died because of free speech. And you're out here just provoking motherfuckers?
And by the way,
you.
yeah, and all
fuck
of those,
you, yo.
And we can't compare none of those people to the Migos either. I just want to put that out there that you can't compare none of these people that you're talking about to the Migos.
But part of it is it's also an interesting argument because Dr. King didn't die because of free speech. He died because there was rhetoric out there that was very much in conflict with what he was touting as an America that was far more inclusive, and the rhetoric that was out there that flew in the face of that scared vulnerable white people from advancing or from making America more equal killed him. So that brings us back right to that point, which is, at what point is someone like a Milo accountable for stirring up controversy and stirring up violence, the same type of violence that took the life of Dr. King or Emmett Till or Medgar Evers or whomever else? That that is the real issue. So every speech should not be protected speech. Every form of speech should not be protected.
I guess my thing with Martin Luther King is, I think that maybe we can agree that he was killed so that he would stop inspiring so many.
Oh yeah,
people.
he definitely was spewing some rhetoric that upset certain people. Like absolutely, especially when he started getting on the economic empowerment thing, and he was going to do the poor people march. When he started messing with the money, they was like, oh yeah, we got to get him up out of here.
Think about even like what happened with Colin Kaepernick, the fact that he kneeled, which is another form of protected speech. He kneeled in protest.
Yep.
That was more outrageous to people than Milo before the pedophilia comments.
That's true.
That's crazy to me.
That's true.
It's crazy.
I mean, I don't know if it was more outrageous. I think that Colin is just on a way bigger stage and a way more known figure. Milo was somebody who was known in YouTube and Twitter.
Yeah, but Milo got a $250,000 book deal from Simon and Schuster.
What? Colin Kaepernick had got a $20 million, $40 million contract. You can't compare the fame.
I bet you he won't get one now. He got that before he was kneeling. I bet you.
But he also got that before he was playing like shit, right?
That's true too.
He's just not a good football player. But that has nothing to do with his political opinions. Regardless if you disagree or agree with what he's kneeling, you have to protect the right to do it. That is his
But again,
American
that is a protective. That was my whole point. He was engaged in a protective form of freedom, an act that's a protective form of free speech, and it was outrageous to people. This other guy is engaging in speech that should not be protected as free because it incites violence, and there's documented evidence of that again. But people were more upset about the protected protests than the outrageous inciting violence comments from Milo. That was my whole point.
You know the thing about Milo too. Real quick.
Okay,
you know the thing about the thing with Milo. Milo was never attached to anything that they could remove him from. He was just a guy on the internet. So being that he's on the internet, there's nothing there to protect him. He couldn't talk that way working for an actual company.
Well, he does though, Breitbart, and they just got ready to get rid of him. Yeah, just for the pedophilia, but not for the other pieces. I'm just like, I'm glad that there's some strand of human decency that still connects us all. At least it's protect the kids. Protect the kids. At least that works.
Real quick, just on the inciting violence thing, you could make the argument that the protesters that were protesting against Milo incited more violence than Milo, right? People were hurt. There were Milo supporters that were beat up. There were violence on their part. Does that mean that they shouldn't be able to protest?
That's kind of like the chicken and the egg thing, though, because you can say, for all intents and purposes, you can say Milo started all of that. Just the presence of Milo, the rhetoric Milo has put out.
I don't agree
You're
with violent
accountable for
protest
your views
under any circumstances. But so I don't think that anyone should get beat up because of their leanings. But if you're inciting violence, I don't know what you expect to come out of that.
But my point is, those protests against Milo incited violence, right? But I don't want to.
Milo's words incited violence. They were
No.
No, you're talking about actual acts of violence. So that's not inciting violence. That's you're talking about the actual acts of violence, right?
Okay, so those protesters that were at the Milo thing, a couple of them, a handful of them were violent, right? Now, I don't want to take away all those other protesters' right of freedom of speech to protest just because a few were violent.
Right.
In the same exact way, I don't want to take away Milo's rights for free speech just because a couple people that might listen to him are violent. You see, we have to be consistent. Both have to work the same way. Even though I agree with the protesters in Berkeley. Say again?
That's just not the standard, though. The standard is you cannot incite violence with your speech. And if you do, that is no longer free speech. You're no longer...
But Berkeley did it.
Go to jail
the protesters in Berkeley did it. They were violent because
no. And
of
again,
the
I
protests.
said I don't support or condone any act of violence, but I guess what I'm saying to you is the expected outcome of speech that is inciting violence is violence. So whether it's on his side, it's on another side, if the response is violence, that is the challenge.
Got you. Okay. And then the other thing that's really interesting, I want to say, where you were talking about there's like a shred of human decency in Breitbart and a shred of
No, I didn't say that. Wait, Andrew, you said
No.
I said there's a shred of human decency left in connecting us in protecting the kids. At least there's human decency, a thread of human decency that connects us in protecting the kids. I do not believe that there's any type of decency at Breitbart.
Yeah, my bad. I didn't mean to say that you were defending Breitbart. I'm not defending them. We're on the same page. But my thing with Simon and Schuster and Breitbart, to be honest, but I think both of them, Simon Schuster specifically, but also Breitbart, they outed themselves as complete douchebags, because before Milo said the pedophilia shit, he'd said tons of horrible shit about women.
Absolutely.
Lesbians, gays, tons of different people, right? In America.
Yeah, that was our point to you earlier.
Muslims. No, totally. But check it out. And Simon and Schuster agreed to publish the book based on free speech. They're like, oh, he's entitled to free speech, right? Yeah. He's allowed to do it. We have to support free speech. Then he says the pedophilia thing, and then they drop him. So Simon and Schuster basically just said, hey, you can make fun of Muslims. Yep. You can criticize women. Yep. You can criticize lesbians. We're totally okay with that. Just don't talk about fucking kids. So in my personal opinion, it's like, fuck Simon and Schuster. Fuck you for drawing a line in the sand. Now, hold on. Let
me play white devil's advocate here. You did the same exact thing because you was okay using Milo as an example until you found out that he was trying to normalize pedophilia. That's when you drew the line.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
That was your whole point this whole podcast. You said that you put that post up before you realized Milo was normalizing pedophilia. So prior to that, you was trying to normalize his speech.
Sure.
You was normalizing his speech before the pedophilia, so you did the same exact thing.
Well, no, because I don't think that the Migos have said anything about fucking underage kids. Now, what I could have related Milo to even after that would be to the Rolling Stones. Like, that would have been a fine equivalence, right? But I don't think the Migos had said anything in terms of pedophilia. I was just trying to talk about the way that they spoke to, mostly about women.
Well, I'm tired of talking about it.
But I hear what you're saying. And you actually make a good point where, maybe given the context, I could seem like a hypocrite. I think maybe we all agree that the worst thing in the world is pedophilia. It sucks to put levels.
Yeah, I don't think it's the. I don't know if it's
in the church they say sin is sin.
Yeah, sin is sin. It's pretty bad.
Shit, I'd rather you fuck my wife than my kid.
Who's your kid though?
Wait,
you ain't shit.
Oh my god.
I'm saying,
you didn't put an
if
age.
I had to choose,
you didn't put an age on your kid, bro.
If I got an 8-year-old kid,
Wrong.
if I got an 8-year-old kid, right?
Well, say that. Say 8-year-old kid, bro.
Shit. I'd rather you fuck my 30-year-old wife than my 8-year-old kid.
Because I mean,
my wife would make the same thing.
Technically, Jay-Z got Matthew Knowles' kid pregnant again. Technically, you got to put an age on it, bro. Okay,
that's the most ridiculous thing you've ever said.
See, now that is a funny pedophile joke, Charlamagne.
That was not a pedophile joke. That was nothing pedophilic about that.
I cannot be associated with this conversation any longer.
Angela, welcome, my darling.
Let's pay this bill and then let's get back and find out why Angela Rye's single. Okay.
Oh my God.
All right.
No.
Stamps.com.
I'm sick.
She's sick. I'm sick. Today's episode of The Brilliant Idiots is also brought to you by Stamps.com. Isn't it great being able to listen to this podcast whenever you want, when it's convenient for you? Gotta love this on-demand era. So why are you still going to the post office and dealing with their limited hours when you can get postage on demand with Stamps.com? Anything you can do at the post office, you can now do right from your desk with Stamps.com. Buy and print official U.S. postage for any letter or package using your own computer and printer. And unlike the post office, Stamps.com never closes, so you can get postage whenever you need it, 24/7, okay? Right now, use our code IDIOTS for this special offer. You can get a 4-week trial, including postage and a digital scale. Just go to Stamps.com, and before you do anything else, click on the radio microphone at the top of the homepage and type in IDIOTS. That's Stamps.com, enter code IDIOTS. Stamps.com, never go to the post office again. Now, you remember when I posted that tweet about women of color and how we need to create, it'd be dope if one of them created a platform to control their narrative the way Tommy did. Remember that when I got destroyed for that?
I defended you.
Angela Rye definitely defended me. Angela Rye was the best thing to come out of that situation, because if it wasn't for that, I would not have started communicating with Angela Rye, and we would not be the friends we are right now.
Yeah, he's the long lost BFF, except for when he says dumb stuff. I don't support.
But we all need somebody to keep us in line, right?
I need a whole army of people to keep me in line.
Really?
Yeah, I have a village. I don't believe it takes a village just to raise a child. I think you need them until you're a senior citizen.
Always. I talk about that in my book.
Why do you think there's pallbearers? You ever think about that?
Somebody got to carry you. Somebody got to carry you. Yeah, I talk about that in my book. Like, we all need mentors. Like, you never stop having mentors. At different stages in your life, different levels of your life, you need somebody to guide you through those various situations.
Mentors and peers and mentees. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Extended family.
What's a mentee?
A mentee?
What's that, like somebody you mentor?
Is that shit in Florida? It's like a hippo?
No, isn't that a manatee?
Candy?
Manatee.
A manatee. Oh, mentee is somebody you mentor.
Mentee, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got you. That makes sense.
Ooh, y'all make me nervous.
It's okay, Angela. You're the smartest person in the room, and that's fine.
What did I say wrong? As soon as I came in here, I started talking dumb. What
you
I
said
say?
Fair.
Fair is a fire.
She said as soon as
I came in here. Andrew got me defended, bitch. My daddy gonna cuss me out. Like, this is wrong. By the way, Andrew, you use the word pussy in a way that's inflammatory to women. I was on wait to call you out on that. But
what was it?
You know what? No,
she's right. He was like,
she's
that's pussy. Right. That's pussy. It's a negative connotation. That's
why I never call guys pussy.
Well,
I never call guys pussy, because why would I call you something?
He wasn't even calling a person that. He's saying the way that he would have engaged with it is, which I still think is.
No, I think Angela's 100% right about this. I use the term pussy as in weaker. Now, if I was to defend it, I would say women are physically weaker than men. That's a fact. Just based on testosterone and estrogen in our bodies, we have more testosterone.
I'm gonna get Layla Ali to come arm wrestle you. You tell me what you think.
Look, Layla could get knocked out if we get in the ring.
Can we please set this fight up? She gonna knock him out in 15 seconds, please.
You gotta know one thing about Andrew. He thinks he can do heart surgery.
Okay.
Like, he literally thinks he can watch a YouTube tutorial.
That's clear, because he redefining gangster rap today. He doing all kind of stuff.
Yeah, you can't take Andrew serious. And you know Jay Williams, that used to play for Duke?
No.
Jay Williams was a star basketball player for Duke. He played for Chicago Bulls. He injured himself, so he got out the league. Andrew challenged him to a game, a one-on-one. Jay was very confident, so Jay spotted him 6 points. They was only going to 7. Jay was beating his ass. Tie ball game, 6-6. Andrew throws up some lucky prayer, white privilege shot.
White privilege shot.
and it went in. And so now he thinks he can beat any professional athlete at their game.
I did cross him over. I hit him with the hezzy.
He said I did cross him over. He's going to give him all the highlights.
He did. He hit him with a hezzy.
I did hit him with a hezzy, and I crossed him over, and then I put up a nice little floater, and then splash.
So, okay.
That's how I do, bro.
Okay.
After it bounced on the rim
but
around 20 times.
did he really spot you 6 points?
I mean,
6 points.
That was up to him. I didn't want him to spot me at 6 points. He offered it. I said I would beat him.
What if you guys do a rematch and he doesn't spot you the 6 points?
He'll bust shoulders.
Hey, man. Ain't no rematches in life.
Oh. Okay?
You know what I mean? We keep it moving. All right. Once we get these victories, we go to the next one.
All right. Well, then let's set up this Layla Ali fight.
No, but if Layla wants to get it, she could get it.
Layla Ali will knock you out, bro.
How tall is Layla?
She's like 6'2", 6'3".
Man, get out of here. She's not 6'2".
Hell yeah, I met Layla.
She's 6'3".
She got to be 6'1" at least.
Charlamagne, everybody's 6'3" to you.
Not that tall.
You never seen that picture I put on Instagram of me and Layla Ali?
I'm about to check. You didn't have.
And everybody was like, I look like her son.
Maybe she had on heels.
Everybody was like, she looked like she taking you to Sunday school, like the little badass kid. You like the little badass kid.
I'm about to look this up.
I'm not gonna lie. When I was boxing, like every day, or at least 5 days a week.
I called it by the inch to the inch.
She's 5'10".
5'10"?
Yeah, she probably had on high heels.
She probably did have on heels.
You didn't have on your.
I'm not gonna lie. I could probably beat Layla Ali in a boxing match. When I was boxing every single day. There was a time in my life where I was a pretty decent boxer, and I would probably give her the business, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I'm 6'2". I'm 100. No, I used to box. I'm 175 pounds. No, 180 probably now. Pure muscle. You know?
Shut the
Lord.
fuck
It's
up.
like,
Listen,
God,
listen. People got
come on, bro.
Hold on, people got questions for Angela Rye. Ahmed Akra wants to know, when will black banks go to Chicago? That's an initiative that we've been doing.
So again, this begs the point. Ask Charlemagne and say Chicago.
Chicago. But I say wrong.
Chicago.
I tell you, I added K for the killing.
But there's not. You can't say that anymore. And that's not even a K. Like Chicago is just the hard C. Anyway, special. I'm gonna start calling him Charlemagne. Charlemagne. I think that we have a challenge, right? Like, there was an article that I sent you the other day from USA Today that talked about there were, I think, 28 black banks. At the time of the mortgage bubble bursting. And now we're at 23. And one of the recent sales was...
I actually heard it's 21 now.
No.
Yeah.
23. Well, as of that article last week, it was 23.
Yeah.
What happened to the other two?
Stacy told me that. Stacy Tisdale, she's a...
Maybe she's not counting some credit unions.
Maybe. You might be right. She said 21, but yeah, you're right.
So Seaway was just recently sold, and that was in Chicago. I think the most important thing that we can do is to emphasize to folks who will bank black, including Andrew, is they can go and bank online. If there's not a bank in your geographical area, you should definitely consider opening up an account online.
You know what, Andrew?
I'll absolutely do it.
You should open up a black bank account.
I'll absolutely. I can't tell you how much I support this. I mean, we've talked about this show on. We talk about this on tons of times in the show. It's like once you do it for yourself, everybody else takes notice, and then they want a piece.
Good,
right? You create your own TV show and show how successful it can be to have a TV show that's about black storylines and about the hip hop industry. All of a sudden, every network is dying for a hip hop based show, right? I mean, you saw that with Empire. Then Power pops up. Then the Donald Glover show pops up. And I imagine there's a bunch of other pilots about
Power is a
hip-hop as
gangster
well.
rap show
Blackish.
based on your standards. Based on your
I
standards,
guess-
by the way.
I
Power
guess
is
so.
a gangster
I guess,
rap.
I guess you're right. But
A lot of gay gangsters on
and
it.
I love this idea. And we talk about this all the time. It's like you take care of your own, and other people will notice, and then they'll want a piece. I think it's great. I'll open a bank account just out of pure support.
You know what?
So I
you
can
should
support the shit
post
that
it
I
on
do.
your IG so you can get rid of some of your.
Send me a link.
Yeah, they
send me a
can't-
link,
yeah,
and I'll
I'ma
absolutely do it.
send you
But
the-
I won't. I'm not
They
going
gonna
to
think
do
he's
it to like
trolling.
get rid of my hate. I'm not going to do it.
No. It's not get rid of your hate. It's just like, I might not agree with y'all on this, but I'm still down for the cause.
I mean, it's just I love, like we always talk about. The episode was called "Do It Like the Jews." Like the Jews have this amazing ability to take care of their own. No matter where they go, people hate them throughout history. No matter
Jewish
where they
people,
go.
Asian people.
The dollar definitely recycles more in those communities than in ours.
Dude,
and I think,
and it does.
yeah,
And,
there are
there's
a
tons
lot of layers as to why, but this isn't a
course.
critical race theory lecture, so we won't get into all of those. But I think that there's a lot that our community can learn from the many ways in which Jewish folks have supported their own in varying industries. And again, in terms of recycling the dollar and ensuring that they're supporting businesses within their own communities, I think there's a ton we can learn from
They
that.
can never call you
Absolutely.
alt-right. They can't call you alt-right Andy ever again if you open up a black bank account.
I mean, dude, they could say whatever the fuck they want, but I'm going to do it out of support because I support the opinion. And I think it's important to understand the difference when you're comparing like black Americans to Jewish culture and Chinese culture, these other cultures that we see. And they're like, wow, they really take care of their own. Black American culture is very young. It's a few hundred years old, right? And these people that came to America were coming from all different parts of Africa. It's not like there was this unified culture that was brought to America, which you saw
I see
with
what you're saying.
Jews, Chinese.
Like they're carrying on traditions that have been around in
thousands of years. They've
Yeah, I
been
see what
for
you're saying.
thousands of years. So you can't hold it to the same standard. Be like, well, why the hell aren't you doing it just like the Jews? But you can go, hey, look at what the Jews and the Chinese and maybe the Koreans and Vietnamese are doing. Let's model that business model.
I think the other thing we have to acknowledge, though, Andrew, is that it's not just that people were brought here from different parts of Africa. It was mostly one coast, right? But there also is an issue of how we got here. So when you take into consideration the forced immigration process,
Of course.
and then the many times in which we have tried to stand up these types of, model communities that we're talking about, they were literally destroyed by white people who were
Black
threatened
Wall
by them.
Street.
Of course.
And Black Wall Street in Tulsa and in North Carolina.
Yep.
Of
So
course.
these things we've tried to do them and they've They've been decimated.
Unprecedented systemic racism, unprecedented governmental influence to basically stop the forward progress of economic superiority in these communities.
Every generation, every single generation,
undeniable.
I sent you the image to post.
All right, bet. I'm going to post it. But I liked it, and I'm going to open the bank. Which one should I open? Is there one that is something in New York?
Me and Angela are at One United. Carver's in New York. I haven't looked into Carver yet, but me and Angela have accounts at One United.
Yeah.
Okay, which one gives you the free bottle of Hennessy?
See, Andrew, you just lost all the ground you just made in the last 4 minutes. You just lost it. Now they're gonna be talking about the Hennessy on the same the Hennessy point on the same post.
Who got the best interest rates and who gives you the free thing of Hennessy? By the way, though, but all jokes aside, we are black and we do have black culture. We do need those kind of things at the bank. You know how you go to a bank like yesterday?
I went to a Hennessy shot at the bank.
I want Remy because I drink Remy. But I'm at Wells Fargo, and I was playing with the lady yesterday at Wells Fargo. And I was in there, and she was like, "Oh, Mr. McKelvey, do you want some water? Some tea?" I was like, "Nah, I want some Remy." And she was like, "I don't think we have any alcohol." But I'm just thinking to myself, those are the kind of perks that I would want. Like if I also
I need you and your cousins to go to the club and not the bank for that need. Or go to the liquor store.
But I even told you, imagine a black bank, you get a debit card and you can get I'm serious about this. You can get images of great black historians.
Okay, that's good.
You can get Wu-Tang logos. You know what I'm saying?
I'm scared about where this is going.
I'm just saying, if you like Young Money, Cash Money, you can get that logo on. You can get you can design your own debit card.
I'm fine with that, but what are you going to say next? I'm scared.
Nothing, I'm done, okay. That's it.
All right. No Remy for you at the bank.
At G.Lee wants to know, Angela Rye. Mm-hmm. When
I'm scared.
You floss meat out of your teeth, do you eat the meat?
No! Spit that out. But that's good. Tell him I said, brother, I'm glad you floss. I'm glad you floss.
You don't eat the meat?
No, are you serious?
Come on, now it's all marinated.
If I got a toothpick and I'm sitting there I'm not spitting the meat out on the floor.
Oh, I'm definitely doing that. That's so gross.
Oh, this is a good one. Derek J903 says, Angela Rye, if you had to replace Trump with a Republican, who would you pick?
Oh, that is hard. Can it be a dead person?
I guess. It's a hypothetical question.
So my dad's mentor.
Lincoln?
No, not Lincoln. No. Y'all know that he only got rid of slavery to preserve the Union, right? Like, y'all know he wasn't all ride or die for black people. Anyway.
Actually, that's not entirely true.
Okay, Andrew, well, you about to take us down this thing. Here's what I was going to say.
I mean, I'll just say this one thing, Angela. My brother's middle name is Lincoln. My dad is Lincoln is like the most important figure in his life. And I grew up with, a lot of, lessons, I guess, about Lincoln. And there's no question that they were not sure what the solution was going to be in America. But if you look at, Frederick Douglass, when he met with Lincoln, he said the only white man that he'd ever spoke to in his life that spoke to him like an equal was Abraham Lincoln. And he met with Lincoln at the White House. So,
I think if that's the barometer, then great. But I do think we would be remiss if we didn't acknowledge that he would say, if I have to get rid of slavery to preserve the Union, I will. This isn't a direct quote. And if I have to keep slavery to preserve the Union, I will. That was his posture. And I'm not saying that it didn't evolve. And I'm also not saying that compared to his vice president, Andrew Johnson, who undid everything that happened with Special Field Order number 15 and gave all the land back to the Confederates, right? Compared to him, he's Jesus Christ. But I'm just saying, I just want us to be clear that he's not the cat's meow necessarily. Now back to my question. I got to answer this question.
Real quick.
Oh, let her answer the question.
I just want to say, before we villainize Lincoln real quick, I just want to let people know that one, we have to judge people within the context of the time. And two, Lincoln was always against slavery. When he ran in 1860,
that's true.
But even before that, he was against slavery. But he said, I just don't want it to extend. I don't want to extend beyond where it is. Now, he knew that stopping the extension of slavery beyond where it is would mean that eventually there would be a majority in the Senate and the House, and that majority would lead to the abolition of slavery, right? Just because of how our governmental system works, right? So that's why the South seceded, because they saw, hey, if slavery just stays in the states it is right now, the second we get a couple more states become part of the Union, we're not going to have enough votes to keep slavery, and they're going to get rid of it because it was already abolished in the North.
Abe Lincoln the credit he deserves for his luxurious beard. I mean, we talk about James Harden.
Can I
we
answer
talk
this
about
man's question about which
yes,
Republican?
you can, Angela. Yes,
Because y'all now we down a new rabbit hole.
Yes.
Okay, so I would pick my dad's mentor. His name was Arthur Fletcher. He is or was a Black Republican who was also the father of affirmative action. And he worked under Nixon. He worked with H.W. Bush, not in the White House, but just with him. Just like an old school Republican that sought out ways to ensure more parity and opportunities for people of color and marginalized communities. So I have a great deal of respect for him. And I think a lot of the reason why I'm in politics today has a lot to do with him and like the way in which he helped to shape my dad's belief system.
You know, it's interesting that you say that because it's going to be a lot of people. Well, it was a lot of people prior to this who felt like the Republican Party conservatives are just inherently racist. Mm-hmm. And after this administration, they're absolutely going to feel like their feelings were confirmed. Mm-hmm. But all conservatives aren't. All Republicans aren't,
sure.
Right? Some do care about the well-being of all.
Sure. I think that that's true. I think about people like Michael Steele, who was the chair of the Republican Party, who I respect a lot. I disagree with a lot of his politics, but there are some areas of agreement. Same thing with Tim Scott. There are things that he's done like obstructing a judge from South Carolina from getting on the bench who is very powerful, a Black woman. He just wouldn't support her, but then he'll turn around and do something really positive in the criminal justice reform space. Mm-hmm. And I think part of it, just like we do at our kitchen tables or at work, we engage in these conversations all the time with people we don't 100% agree with all the time, but where are the spaces where we can get along and move the needle on some things? So I think he's an example of that, or both of them are. Somebody
wants to know, were you a part of your student government in school? And if so, what was that climate like?
Wow. So I actually was. We had something called Sport and Spirit, which was another part of like the student government at my high school. And then I started the Black Student Union at my high school with my best friend to this day, Charlemagne. Sorry, her name's Leonetta, not you. But we were very much engaged in student leadership. In undergrad, I was not as engaged. I just went to class and went home. I still lived in Seattle. And then in my law school, I was very much engaged, but in the Black Law Students Association. So the climate has always been one I've not paid attention to. I went to an all-white, or not all-white, mostly white, all-girls school in Seattle for high school. And so
how was that for you?
It was uncomfortable. I was ready to go my first year, and then I was like, okay, I'm not leaving, but I'm going to change some things. And luckily, I had a great village, right, of friends who agreed with doing the same thing. The women that I went to high school with came to my speech in Seattle, and we took pictures. White girls who were in the BSU joined the BSU, and they're still to this day saying things like Black Lives Matter and trying to figure out ways to ensure their kids understand that. So
hold on. So you created Rachel Dolezal?
No, I did not. She actually is not from Seattle, and she actually lived in Spokane, which is 5 hours away from Seattle, so we don't claim her. And I hope she donates all the proceeds from her book that's out or coming out to the NAACP since it made her.
Why did we give Rachel Dolezal such a hard time?
Come on, Charlemagne.
She's a white woman who wanted to be Black.
Are y'all for real?
No, I'm dead serious. She's a white woman. There's nothing probably more privileged than a white woman, and she's like, no, I want to be a sister.
Did you see the Atlanta episode where the Black dude decided he wanted to be white?
Hilarious.
Okay, and you see how that's funny?
Yeah.
I'm laughing at her the same way. It's ridiculous. Like, you just can't, there's some things you just can't claim.
I agree with that.
You know, and I appreciate you wanting to be an ally, but don't sue Howard University when you were in college because they discriminated against you because you were white and then decide that you're going to be Black post-Howard, right? Like, that ain't it.
So if she hadn't sued Howard, could it have been room for a conversation? Like somebody pull Rachel to the side and say, Rachel, you don't have to be Black to be an ally.
Yeah, you can just be an ally.
Because nobody tried to have the conversation with
She
her.
could even still be a white president of an NAACP chapter. Yeah. NAACP wasn't just founded by Black people. So that's fine to be an ally. In fact, we need and want allies. But can you just not become us? Like, can you not evolve? Like, she started doing Donald Trump tanning beds and stuff, spray tan.
I thought it was a compliment in a lot of ways.
Charlemagne.
I did.
Did you write about this in the book?
No, I didn't.
Good.
I did. You know what? The whole thing about Rachel Dolezal was interesting because it was like everybody was showing so much love and support for Bruce Jenner. And then like a week later, the Rachel Dolezal thing came out and people was like, hell no.
I think it's different.
I don't think it's an equal equivalency, but it's kind of in the same realm.
I don't think it's the same thing. I think that she could decide, right, that she wants to become and embrace a part of a struggle, but in a way that doesn't deceive people. Like her parents were like, we don't know when she became black because it didn't come from us. You know what I mean? Like
she
that's
got some black
a
dick.
different. Okay. Well, and then there's that. And then with
Dude,
Caitlyn
that's
Jenner,
what happens though.
don't do
once
it,
that
Andrew.
black
Don't do it,
dick
Andrew, 'cause
touches
this
your
is about to go
cervix, once it touches the cervix, oh man, that switches your whole racial identity. Once the black
Andrew,
dick gets
so-
that far.
So back to Caitlyn Jenner.
That's the reason why you don't see black chicks that are becoming white, because the white dick don't reach that far back.
That is probably the second most bigoted thing you said on this show today.
But he's white. He can say that.
No, he can't.
I can
made
talk
a joke
shit
about white
our
men
dicks.
having little dicks.
Well, we don't know if that's true. We don't know if that's true.
He's
We
white.
don't have
You got
little
dick
dicks.
shows?
We have regular sized dicks. I have a beautifully,
So here
beautiful,
goes the
beautiful.
superhuman, like super pro sexual like thing. That whole thing, like that was a slave thing too. That whole construct.
What
pissed
is?
me out. That's why I didn't want to go down this road.
Oh,
Hold
I
on.
see what
Like
you're saying.
hypersexual or over sexualized black man.
Black dudes got bigger dicks. Look at the
You
porn.
have no
Look at
proof
the
of this.
porn.
He used to play
What are you
basketball.
gonna tell me
He's
next?
probably been in the
What
locker
are you
room.
gonna tell me next? You gonna tell me next that Asians got big dicks too?
Shows. How many
What I'm
times-
telling
shows.
you is that Asian men, black men, white men aren't monolithic. There are some who have big things and some
Say
who
that there's
don't.
big Asian dicks. I want you to tell me right now there's an Asian guy walking around with a foot long dick.
I don't know.
Tell me that right now.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
And
I could walk
actually, there
I
was
could
just
take
like
you.
something out talking about like some dude that has like a condition. Like he's not even gonna be able to have kids. It's like all the way down
Okay,
his leg.
He was Asian?
So
think so.
an Asian dude needs a medical condition to have a big dick. A
No,
black guy just
no,
needs to
no,
be
no. I
hanging
was
out
just using
on
an example.
Flatbush Avenue, just chilling, and
You
he
don't
is a
have
foot
any
long dick.
basis for this. Once you have scientific data that proves that what you're talking
Yeah,
about,
there's
is
a lot
true.
of scientific data. It's called red tube, X tube, U porn, all of that.
I mean,
It's
Are you
all the data
promoting
you
porn
want.
on your podcast?
I can say that black men probably do have bigger penises than everybody. I like having a big penis for a black man is like so like obvious.
Y'all are gonna give
It's
little
like it's-
penis black men a complex.
There you go.
Oh,
Yeah, that's the
dude,
thing.
They're gonna have a
dude,
complex.
the worst thing in the world is being a black guy with a regular dick
Oh
because
my
it's
God.
regular, but you're black, so the expectation is so
I
high.
ever told you about this retarded dude that used to live?
Don't say retarded. Is he really retarded?
Yeah.
Like he's really mentally disabled.
Mentally disabled.
Okay, because sometimes
He's retarded. Yeah.
So he had the biggest penis I ever seen in my life, and that was his thing. Like he would walk around the neighborhood holding his dick like it was a gun or some type of water
is
gun.
happening right
and
now?
he would be like screaming on people. Like
No,
my cousin.
You're making this up.
I
Call your
promise to
cousin.
God, my
Call your
cousin, my cousin Andre, his baby mama name was Shannon, and he used to always say to Andre, "I'm gonna fuck your baby mama," and he used to be holding his like he'd be holding his dick with two hands, like you wait till I get a hold of Shannon. Like that was his
This did
thing.
not happen.
His name was Virgil. I'm dead serious. Like
Yo,
You just told
maybe
Virgil, he's sorry. He
Virgil's
told all your
dick.
business.
Maybe Virgil's dick was so big that all the blood that was supposed to be in his brain actually had to fill up his cock, and that's why he's retarded.
That's
you
not
think that's
funny.
possible?
That's not nice.
I don't find that amusing at all.
I mean, it could be
Very
possible.
not PC.
Andrew, I
He
don't
could
think
have
so.
lack of blood flow in his brain. That could have caused the retardation.
I think you should get out of the business of science for the purpose of this podcast.
Dude,
We got
I'm
another.
a doctor.
Hold on, we got another good question
Whatever.
for Angela. This is from @McBeastie100.
I don't know if you should ask this one.
Angela Rye.
Oh no.
You ever had your feet worshipped by a foot fetish guy? How'd you enjoy it?
Get you some, boy.
What?
Get you some.
That's disgusting. And why is his name McBeastie? Never mind.
No.
Nope.
Wait a minute,
And I'm good.
Angela. You got
But there-
nice
I
feet,
wonder if
Angela.
that's the same person that posts on my IG, like, take a picture of your
Let me
feet.
show you. Is
Wait,
that him?
Angela, do you have nice feet?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't have corns and stuff. I don't have no bunions. I'm
But
good.
are
I
the,
keep
all
a
the
pedicure.
toes in a line?
I have
Are they
all
on
my
a row?
toes. They don't look like what's her name in Boomerang.
Oh, no, they're not
she was
crazy.
bad. They don't look like Claudia Jordan. Salute to Claudia Jordan.
Oh,
I love Claudia. That's my
Jordan got
homie.
some rough feet.
But her
You can't have
feet,
it all, man. Can't have it all.
That's terrible.
No, she looks like one of the raptors in Jurassic Park.
You're horrible. That is so mean.
Okay, Adam MWL says, Angela Rye, have you ever tried making or understanding a pro-Trump argument to sharpen your own points?
No.
Damn, you sound like me turning down an interview for Cash Out Girl. What's that girl's name?
What did she say? What did she say again?
Was it Cash Me Outside? Cash Me Outside.
No, what was it? How about that?
How about that? How
No.
about that?
No, how about that? No.
Somebody wants to know why you're single, Angela.
So
I mean, are you single? I don't know.
So I think that is complicated. I think that I'm not single, like I'm not looking. But I'm not married.
Got you.
So do you got some white dick?
Andrew, get your life.
Guys, you need some white dick in
I
your
have
life,
not dated
bro.
a white guy.
You've never dated a white guy?
No.
And you grew
I
up
don't
in
think you
Seattle?
can.
No, a girl from Seattle that grew up in a multicultural community has not dated a white guy.
Do you think you could without getting flack for it?
It wouldn't be about flack. I just think for me, culture and blackness and even how I was raised, it's so central to who I am. I just don't know what we would have in common.
Culture isn't dictated.
To sound like
by
a white
skin
person, I
color
have
entirely.
white friends.
Okay.
But it's just never even been a thing. I don't think they want to fool with me either.
So on Valentine's
here's
Day,
the-
did you
here's the
celebrate
question.
Galentine's?
Here he goes. This is a
Did
setup.
you celebrate Galentine's Day?
I got my nails did with I got my nails done with one of my friends.
And I went to the salon just to get me a good laugh.
Yeah, he did. He did. But it was fun. We went to go eat afterwards. That is like probably one of the best Valentine's Days I've had in a long time because there was no fight. There was no drama. Like it was cool.
You had a lot of self-love posts that day too.
I did?
Yes.
I don't remember that.
Yeah. Hold on, let me go back.
Yeah,
to
go back and
February
look.
14th.
Man, go back and look.
Oh, you said
But
you about to ask a question, Schultz?
Yeah, I just want to know. If you would ever, maybe you'd like to go out somewhere and I could look at your feet.
No.
All right.
Damn.
Did you hear the first way that we met? We were fighting. That don't sound relaxing. No.
Okay.
You gonna get me beat up?
Yo,
Hold on,
They
real
be
quick,
like,
real
"You
quick,
need
real
a
quick.
white guy.
Hold on, real quick.
Angela, you need a white guy. I mean this seriously. I
No,
mean this seriously. I think you need a white guy for
No,
real.
no,
it's
no.
good. White guys are good. You like forehead
some
kisses?
white guys
You
are
like
good,
forehead
but that
kisses?
doesn't mean that I need to date one.
You said, do you like what?
No, you like forehead kisses. You want some nice little forehead kisses?
Black men
like
do
that?
forehead kisses?
Stop it.
That's my favorite move. I love a good forehead kiss. What
Y'all
you
need to
talking
stop
about?
watching Best
First
Man.
of all, Charlemagne.
Andrew saw Best Man for the first time yesterday, and it's like, oh, I know where to get you a forehead kiss.
No,
He gonna let you eat the last piece of food now?
I'm really pissed off because
That
Charlemagne,
was
you
on
know
Soul
you're not.
Food. Wasn't that on Soul,
Soul
Food?
Food.
You combining all the black movies, Charlemagne? That's racist.
You said what, Andrew?
I'm just pissed off because you know you're not tall enough to give a forehead kiss.
This depends. My wife is only 5'3", 5'4".
All right, so she got at least 3 inches on you. So how are you gonna give her a forehead kiss without a little step stool or some shit? Before?
Listen, we about to wrap this up. I just want to point out this is Angela Rye on Valentine's Day. Her first post was
Don't shade me, because I'll get you back, Charlemagne.
her first
I'll
post.
get you back.
Her first post was Beyonce Lemonade, just the album.
No,
cover, for
but
no
no,
reason.
but why? No, and that wasn't even on Valentine's Day.
Yes, it
Why?
was.
Yeah, no, it
Yes, it
wasn't.
was.
I'm about to look. But why was I posting about Beyonce? Why? Do you remember?
Oh, that was the Grammy night.
See?
Oh, you're right. When she got robbed. You're right.
But I did post it on the 14th.
The next one was, I love myself, and that is why is it possible. That's why it is possible to love you. Self-love is the cure to self-hate. Self-love can cure the world.
I was trying to be inspiring to
Self-love.
all the people.
Love thy neighbor. Hashtag
See,
Valentine's
love thy
Day.
neighbor. I was trying to find a bridge to somewhere lovely.
Hold on. This is a good one.
What?
This one is deep.
What?
All right, this when you see this and you send some flowers yourself.
I love
She
this.
posted 1 Corinthians 13.
That's good. This is about global healing kind of love. This
Love
is great.
never gives up. Love cares more for others than for self.
See?
Love doesn't want what it doesn't have. Love doesn't strut, doesn't have a swelled head, doesn't force itself on others, isn't always me first, doesn't fly off the handle, doesn't keep score of the sins of others, doesn't reveal when others
No.
grovel.
You can't read again.
What'd I
Doesn't
say?
revel
Oh, revel.
when others grovel.
I thought it said revolt. I'm like, what did he got
you
to do
didn't.
with
You
this?
said reveal. He can't read either. Keep going.
Takes pleasure in the flowering of truth, puts up with anything, trusts God always looks for the best, never looks back.
That's amazing. My best friend shared this on Valentine's Day, and I thought it was
She's
so
single too?
powerful. She is married with a child,
Oh.
smart ass. And speaking of scripture, that's what it was. I've never seen this version of 1 Corinthians chapter 13. Didn't it bless your life, Andrew? Won't he do it? Yes.
What'd
thank
you say, sweetheart?
No, never mind. I don't know if you started checking your text messages,
No,
but we were
no.
reading you scripture.
And then-
No,
And then this is how Valentine's ended.
I was opening
post,
my Bible to Corinthians 13.
Okay,
you
but
go.
but which Corinthians is it?
I think
Exactly.
it's the first one.
Ooh,
Listen,
All right. You
See?
got lucky. It was a 50-50
I didn't get
chance.
lucky. I'm reading the Bible right now. I'm on Leviticus. Dead ass.
Okay,
Then
that's
the,
awesome.
The
I
next
swear to
picture
God in my
was,
life.
I believe you.
the next picture was
I'm
you
just
and
saying.
Steph in the nail salon.
Yay.
Then you and Steph at dinner.
Me, Steph, and Janina at dinner. And it was so good. We went to Tamarind and
I like
Sherman.
Tamarind.
It's-
Angela's not gonna be single for long though. I'm gonna find
Real
her
quick,
somebody.
what's the name of that restaurant again? I'm sorry.
Tamarind. It's-
Yo, tamarind is good, but it's not even close to as good as white dick.
Whoa.
Get your life, dude. Like, we're not talking about
She thought about it like I never eat there. She thought about it for 1 second. I
No,
saw it in
I
you.
was just like, I was in shock. Like, how did he just bring this back to, like, what?
Okay, somebody
Yo,
wants to
Angela,
know.
you need some white dick for real.
You need to get
For
your
real.
You know what, Andrew? I'm not going to take from you these recommendations.
I'm telling you. How old are you, Angela? How old are you?
I'm old. I'm 37.
Damn.
You act like you're not right
shit.
there, Schultz.
I'm old.
Come
I'm
on now.
37.
I'll take you out though. Let me
No,
take
no,
you
no,
out
no,
on
but,
a nice
but,
white guy
but I
date.
don't need a charity date.
That's a great.
I don't want a
good.
charity date. I'm trying to hit.
No,
See, now you running
Now
out.
I'm about to hit you
Now
in
gonna,
the mouth.
Exactly. Now you gonna get your ass kicked.
Whack.
You see,
What you talking
how
about, charity?
Milo always got to
This
take
ain't
it
Wait,
too
no,
far.
but let me help him because this was, he just ghosted me just now. That's what just happened. There's no
Yeah.
thought sit in this damn chair.
I didn't say you're a thought. I didn't say you were gonna let me hit first night, but I
That
know I
ain't
might have to
happening.
milk it a little
That ain't
bit.
happening.
But let me take
all
you on a
right.
date.
Relax.
Hey,
I
why
know
don't
that some women
we?
believe in that women's empowerment stuff in that way, and I'm not spreading myself around. More power to the sisters that think that's empowering. I'm good.
So you would never
Look,
attend a slut walk?
Real talk, Angela.
No.
Angela, how about this? Why don't we go on a date to open my first black bank account?
I would do that. But
Okay.
that's it. We're going to the bank, and then I'm gonna leave your ass right there after you get your confirmation.
No,
number.
because after I make that deposit, I'm
All
trying
right,
to
all
make another
right,
one.
relax. Listen,
Flag on the play.
At Dame the boy wants to know: can y'all hold a black banking conference? Would like to get into it, but Bay Area has no resource for black banking, which is weird to me because
we're not going to do conference, but we talked about doing some events to have the banks come and sign people up. What you mean? You were supposed to say, yeah, we had talked about
No,
that.
you're
This
right.
is why I don't talk to him about stuff. He's
No,
like, oh, that's a
you're
good
right.
idea. We talked about that last week.
You're absolutely right. So what would we do? Like we'd hold a conference and have like the bank set
Not a
up. and-
conference, but just have like we talked about the little tour where they come and sign people up.
Got you. Okay, I'm with that.
See, he's not going to remember again. Did you hear I said that? He
No,
not
I'm
gonna
with you. Listen, I follow Angela's lead. I'm just a servant. Okay, I told her
That
that.
is
Like,
not true.
what you mean?
Angela, are
we
you on
help
birth
each
control?
other.
Oh my God. Do you hear this dude?
No, I'm not paying him no attention.
Okay, that's good.
Listen,
I'm just saying, are you on birth control or what? Because I need to know about these things. Because if not, I'll bring protection. But if you are,
Andrew,
then I
nothing
trust
is
you.
happening.
You could
I
never-
trust
Nothing
you.
is happening.
I trust you. You're a beautiful woman. You probably got no STDs.
Oh my
you know?
God. No,
So
I do
what I'm
not.
trying
But
to
let me
say-
tell you what you're not going to find out.
Okay, tell me. Tell me. Tell me.
You're not going to find out anything about that entire department. It's not happening.
Okay.
Unless
But
you
you're
ask her
saying,
gynecologist.
you're saying 100% fact that I'm not going to mash the poom poom.
Not mine.
he's being a troll right
Not
now.
mine. He's definitely trolling.
Combat,
I'm not trolling. I'm
you
trying to take you out on a date.
No, you're not. You're trying to
I
it's,
am.
it's like a competition to see when
Do
you're
you
gonna get knocked
care
out by a little athlete.
about do you care about black banks or no? That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah, so we're gonna take you. You're gonna have a chaperone take you to open up your black bank account.
Listen, King Gage wants to know: are you more prone to respond to a text or pick up the phone?
Me?
Yes.
Text. And then
All right,
Andrew, definitely don't leave me a voicemail. That sucker might not ever get checked. That's terrible. I need to get better.
And I have
I'm not gonna leave you a voicemail.
I have about 6 to 7 people asking, when is Angela Rye gonna start her own podcast?
Damn.
I'm dead serious.
It's coming. I'm not
I'll
gonna
be
have
your first
Andrew on.
guest.
No, I know it.
I'll be your first guest.
Angela Rye and alt-right Andy.
I'll be your
We
first
could
guest.
talk about
But
we
you
could talk about our
volunteered
date.
and you were not solicited. You were not asked.
No, let's talk about our date.
She didn't send for you, bruh.
Yeah.
Now, I know she didn't send for me, but I'm just saying, I think it'd be a great episode. We could talk about our date. We could talk about how we made out under the Brooklyn Bridge.
But then we'd be lying. Those would be alternative facts.
So,
First of all, I think that we could at least make out. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
You know why?
Why can't we?
Because see, the folks on your side don't believe in this thing called like a woman's consent. Like I have a right to choose whether or not I'm gonna make out with you two. I'm not choosing.
I'm not gonna lie, Short. You sound very rapey. Like you sound like
Yeah.
you're forcing. You sound like you're forcing
stop
yourself.
it.
on
Real
Angela.
Molly
First of all,
popping.
stop
Real Molly
it.
popping around here.
First of all, stop it. What I want you guys to understand is I'm a very charming individual, and
But
I
it's
think
not
that
the charm's
after
not working.
I take
What
you
happens
out
when the
for
charm is
pizza,
broken?
but you're not even letting the charm cook. Right
No,
now, you're
because the
afraid of the charm. You're afraid of it.
The
You're
charm
scared.
is like broken,
You're
like out
scared
the
of the
gate.
charm.
You're having charm dysfunction right now, Short. Play
No, the
with
charm
it
is
a little
already
bit.
working.
Play with it a little bit.
Hey.
Get your charm back up.
Hey,
You sound-
that charm is working. This is what I want you to do. When Angela leaves, I want you to touch that seat because that shit is moist, guaranteed. Because your boy's cooking over here.
Right. Okay. So the moral of the story is, where do they follow you on Twitter, Angela?
Angela
At
_
Andrew Schultz's boo.
No, it's Angela _ Rye.
And what's your
RYE,
Instagram?
like the bread. Angela Rye, all one word.
And you heard her. She has a podcast coming soon. I think it's gonna be on loudspeaker. We don't know. Angela got so much stuff going on. And
Charlamagne be acting like Ike in these streets.
what do you mean?
You need to get it done.
Yeah, we
He
push each other.
He didn't beat people or like try to get you to pop mollies like Andrew, but yeah, he's definitely.
First of all, I don't listen. My personality is Molly. Okay, that's what's gonna happen.
That seems.
You're gonna start
that sounds
catching
right.
feels. You're gonna start catching emotions.
No,
you're gonna
Andrew,
want some forehead kisses.
Andrew will just talk
you're
to
gonna wanna
you.
Hold me.
Andrew will just keep trying to beat you in the head with a point that isn't valid, and you'll just get exhausted and pass out. You'll just get tired of arguing why Milo's not like the Migos, and you pass out. Next thing you know, you wake up naked, and this guy's sitting there with a smile on his face.
We don't.
I would
believe in
never.
that.
I would never take advantage of you while you are in any state that wasn't completely conscious, because I wouldn't be turned on.
That
by
sounds
it, okay?
so like so many caveats, but don't worry, it won't happen.
I want you
Chaperone
completely
bank-
turned
bank
on.
black
I want you in touch with your body. Okay.
Okay,
And I want
Andrew,
you to-
guess what?
Yeah.
No.
What?
You sound very rapey.
Do you? Can I just, Charlamagne? Can I just kick a little game here
But it's
without
not-
you
no,
just
you're
ruining
just-
everything?
you're just
You
kicking
are
words.
fucking Salt Bay over here, just putting salt all over my fucking game.
Angela is my
I think your game is
sister.
salty by itself.
Angela's my sister, and I got to keep her away from all potential threats.
Yeah, it's definitely
Listen,
a threat.
I'm a threat.
Yeah.
I'm a threat.
Yeah.
Charlamagne, you hook me up with girls all the time. You're not gonna hook me up with Angela?
No.
Come on.
Nope.
I don't know.
That's
I don't
so
want to say anything because I don't know what girls are listening right now.
Don't you say anything.
What I started to say, what me and the black hoodie started to say, because you know how they got the meme where it's like Kermit and Kermit in the black hoodie. Me and the black hoodie started to say, but think of the caliber girl I hook you up with.
Hey, you need to chill out,
Okay,
man.
it's different.
Hey,
Sorry,
you need to chill
Angela's
out,
a different
man.
type of prize.
You're right. Angela's old. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm not willing to go there.
No,
okay?
but guess
I'm
what?
willing
I'm
to
not.
change.
But I'm not. So we can move on.
You're not old, Angela.
Listen, but you
No,
haven't. you
I'm
haven't
old,
felt
but
the
I'm not willing to
hezzy.
go
You're
there.
not old.
You
If you're
haven't
old, then I'm
felt
old.
the
That's fine, then we
hezzy.
old.
We old. We old.
Angela,
Aging like fine wine.
Aging like fine wine. We're gonna be at the Tom Joyner Boat Cruise. We're going to Essence
no.
Fest. All right.
I do want to go to Essence. I do wanna
Okay.
go.
We're gonna be out there getting it in. You hear me?
I'm going to Essence. I'm going to go to Essence. I've never been. I need to go.
I went one year. I went the year they had it in New Orleans. I never been in. No, I went the year they had it in Houston. It was after Katrina.
Oh.
Yeah. And
I was like, how did you just say the year they had in New Orleans?
But
And
listen,
that's where it always is.
I want everybody to watch Uncommon Sense this Friday at 11:30 p.m. on MTV2. I forgot to say that at the beginning of the show, but season 3 premieres this Friday. Crystal's on. Andrew's doing sitcoms and all kind of stuff, so he's not on this season. But but Crystal is on, and this Friday at 11:30 p.m. on MTV2, and it's live. Okay?
I should also add, I wasn't asked to be on this season. I think we should also point that out.
I'm gonna be honest. No, I'm gonna be honest. Viacom felt his views were leaning a little to the right, a little. I think a little right leaning. And they were
I think we should talk about that. We should talk about maybe voices being silenced for having different opinions.
We already spent
That's kind of interesting.
5 days on that
That's
earlier.
kind of interesting how that happens.
I made that up.
But maybe this is the reason. Wait, you made that up, or that's real?
I made that up. You think yes, I made that up.
Oh, no, it's important to acknowledge these things. But I do want, but that is important to acknowledge. Now, by no means do you owe me anything to put me on a show or something like that, but let's not make it act like this was my decision.
Yeah, you're right. I just felt like, I'm gonna be honest with you, if Trump wasn't in the White House, I'd have had you on, but you remind people so much of Trump and you look like
you
him.
want an echo chamber, bro. You don't want to be challenged.
We gotta uplift women of color, bro.
Hey, man. Listen, if you don't want to be challenged, that's fine, bro. You could take that shit. That is cool. But because I'm gonna have my opinions, and it is what it is. You got to be able to be strong in your convictions and say how you feel.
You sound
regardless
hurt.
of what's coming at you.
You sound a little upset. I still love you, Schultz. Jesus Christ.
Well, of course.
Gosh.
Why wouldn't I be upset?
Oh, he's really
Of course.
sad. You gotta give him a hug.
Listen, I have nothing.
Sensitive
Why wouldn't I
thugs,
be?
y'all need
I
hugs.
have nothing but love for you, all right, Andy. Okay.
Oh, I don't deny that. I'm totally fine with that. And you have to do
Tommy
what's best for
Yiannopoulos,
you.
listen to me. Tommy.
But absolutely. But no, I think it's. I think.
No, it honestly just simply wasn't in the budget. I don't think.
That's totally fine.
And then plus,
again, I don't personalize these types of things in terms of business. You have to do what's best for you in every situation. And I don't hold grudges on these types of things. I've always said this to you from the beginning. You have to do what's best for you and what you think is the best business move in that situation.
Will you still tweet about the show? Will you still tweet about it? Will you still tweet that it's coming on?
Of course. What do I say every single fucking week? I tell people to get your book. I've been the most supportive of you. I think that you're amazing. There's no question about that. That being said, in my personal opinion, I think the best conversation comes from dialogue on converging views, not dialogue on congruent ones.
Oh, trust me, we got a lot of conservatives lined up for the show. Like, it's gonna be a lot. It's a lot of different voices that are gonna be on. Like, I want to say who's gonna be on Friday, but I can't announce it yet.
Oh, okay.
But I'm
well, shit.
Why did you ask me this question? Somebody asked if I could properly season chicken.
They did?
Yeah.
I didn't see that. Hold on. Okay, let me ask
That's funny. Yes, I can properly season chicken. But he also said, and does she think black men can get enough credit for never cheating ever? Okay, yeah. Like, I don't think all black men are cheaters.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Those questions ain't in my timeline. So that let me know that Angela Rye was just shooting her shot and letting guys out there know that she can cook.
Really?
Okay.
Are you sure about that?
Oh, you're right, because she probably
take
sees the
that back.
chicken.
Take that back,
I take that
Ike.
back. And what was the thing about black guys cheating? Can black guys not cheat?
Does she think black men get enough credit for never cheating ever?
No, we don't.
Men cheat.
No men gets credit for not cheating.
But no men cheat.
Men don't cheat.
But aren't
though.
they? That's what. What?
Men don't cheat.
Men don't
What do you
cheat.
mean men
Angie.
don't
You wouldn't
cheat?
know. You don't have a boyfriend. You don't know
We
about
don't
these
cheat.
things.
What do you mean men don't cheat? Just because
Men don't cheat.
Men don't cheat. That's a false narrative.
What are you guys
That's a
talking about?
fake
That's
thing.
fake
I feel
news.
like I'm
Never
talking to
existed.
Trump.
That's alternative facts.
I'm talking to Trump people right now. I have to be talking
It's
to Trump
alternative
people
facts. Angela, once you get a
Being
boyfriend,
a woman
you'll realize.
who's been cheated on, men definitely
By
cheat.
who? By who? By who?
I'm not calling out
Somebody
names.
cheated on you?
Yeah.
Really?
Nobody cheated on
With a
you.
white
You
woman,
saw
didn't
them
you?
do it?
No,
You saw them do
I don't
it.
think so. If that happened, they didn't get caught on that one.
Did you see them do it?
No, but they got caught.
Why would they
How did
cheat
they
on
get caught if you didn't see them?
One had a baby.
Really?
Yeah, but how do you know that girl didn't rape him?
Oh, okay. That's what we doing.
As always,
Good
if you
night.
listen to this podcast and you think we're smart, you think we're intelligent, you think we're brilliant, you're absolutely right. If you listen to this podcast, you think we're just a couple idiots who don't know shit, and you